Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
First up, it's the 3-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series, Take a Bow, Drake Mittag. And while Luke Canuck's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet. Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish. Her first win in the National Series. Crystal King gets it done. It's taken a while for Josh Edmondson to crack the victory circle. Winning the war, Drake Mittag, the 2025 iRacing Short Course World Finals champion.
Welcome to the inaugural Yes2Motorsport VORTEX Yes 2 Hours of Crandon. It's in the name. We are running 2 hours of multi-class racing around Crandon tonight. And we've got a full field here for what is sure to be a great time. I'm Sky Shrek. I'm joined up in the booth tonight by Howie Burrows and our producer Christian Hill. Howie, Crandon is an iconic dirt road course here. It's a track that tends to breed a lot of chaos, and I think we're going to see a really, really good one here tonight.
This track breeds chaos in single-class racing. I've had the pleasure of watching this league come here before in the past, and there's nothing like a land rush when there's rallycross cars on the way down the track as well. Let me put it like that. Carnage is going to be one way of putting it, but everyone's here for a good time, no matter how long.
we have a loaded field tonight. Last time you would have seen these Yes2Motorsport guys on the iRacing channel would have been for their race at Wild West earlier on in the year, and that one was absolutely incredible. Let me tell you, I think we're looking forward to another incredible show here tonight as we have a very stacked field of some of the best dirt road drivers on iRacing ready to give it their all in this one.
We have 5 classes in tow for this race. We have the 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive unlimited trucks. We have the limited truck, and we also have 2 rallycross cars on the track, the Subaru WRX and the VW Beetle Light. Around the track, actually, it's a Subaru that becomes the fastest over race distance if they don't stop getting crushed by everything in their way. And the Beetles are just trying to survive out there alongside a lot of cars that are much, much bigger bullies on the circuit. It's a lot of confusion, a lot of fun, and everybody just trying to make their way to the end. You have damage off, so nothing should stop you from making it to the end of race distance. But still, you're going to have to put up a lot of hard knocks to get there.
And here's one of the fun things about this race tonight. This is kind of a prelude, a precursor here of sorts to the Rally X Americas season that starts in just over a week, where they will be racing at Crandon in real life. Getting a little taste of that here tonight on iRacing. We've got about 30 teams in the field tonight across 5 classes, and I mean, there are some big names all throughout the field. We'll get into some of them later in the race. Right now, 2 minutes left in your qualifying session, and the starting orders pretty mixed up, actually. We've got classes all up and down the field, as with these multi-car classes and these multi-driver teams, you've kind of got to pick the best driver on your team to run in qualifying, and that really has the order very shook up right now. I think the only thing we know for certain is that those, it looks like the VW Beetle Lights, or excuse me, the Pro 2 Light trucks are going to be at the back of the field tonight. Those things are going to have a lot of work to do.
I think horsepower limit does that too, but it's very interesting being slow and still being big, bulky, and heavy. It's open qualifying out here on the track, so it's every single car for themselves. All these classes, you are required to have multiple drivers in your team, except for the light truck, which you can run your 2 hours solo to the end. Obviously, having a pit lane means you can make driver swaps throughout the race. We're seeing a lot of that and a lot of refueling over the 2-hour distance. You mentioned the real-life Rallycross League coming here. Well, the history of Yes2Motorsport did inspire the bringing of Rallycross to Crandon in the first place. Did it enough times in iRacing, they thought, this seems fun and this seems like a good idea. So, yet one more example of iRacing, letting you try out the unusual and actually finding out that it might just work.
Yeah, you'll hear a little bit more from Chris Leone, one of the drivers in this race, about that later. Another thing to keep in mind tonight, drive fair share is on. So if you are not in that Pro 2 Light class that's going to allow solo drivers, you've got to be making changes to your drivers to stay above that fair share line that will be enforced tonight. You can see our track map of Crandon right there, 1.6 miles in length, 8 turns. A 1984 pit speed of 30 miles an hour and a lap record of 1:12.802. Don't think we're going to be coming too close to that tonight. You never know. The closest qualifying time is currently in the 1:13s. Damage is off tonight so that all entries can compete for as long as possible, because there will be some door banging and there will inevitably be some crashing here with 2 hours around a track with as many tight corners, as many high-flying jumps, and as many hairpins as you've got at Crandon. It's a rolling start tonight, no cautions and no restart. So once we get going, there is no stopping this train for 2 hours around Crandon International Raceway. This is going to be a really good one here. Drivers just finishing up their final qualifying laps right now before we get ready to go tonight. And I mean, it's going to be a good one. Right now, the fastest times in the field are being ran by those Subaru Rallycross STIs. Those are the cars that we are going to expect to be the fastest over the course of the long run tonight. The Pro 4 cars, close second right behind them, and then you've got a good mix between the Pro 2s and the, looks like the Beetles, excuse me, the Pro 2s and the Beetles back there, and then it is the Pro 2 Lights who are kind of out to lunch at the moment, but that's going to be a very competitive class in its own right, even though they are couple seconds off some of the other classes in this field. I think they're going to put on one of the better shows out of anybody, because all those cars are very even here in qualifying.
And obviously you mentioned the rolling start, and anyone knows Crandon knows it's no regular rolling start. The land rush, infamous to this track, is a lot of fun and a lot of carnage when you're just bringing trucks into it. But I've seen an absolute maelstroms of chaos in the multi-class round to turn 1. If you've never seen a race at Crandon, get ready for something special going into turn 1. You can't guarantee what class is going to be leading, exiting that turn whatsoever. Qualifying's wrapped up, so drivers are going to be getting themselves to grid very, very soon. Some are just finishing their laps as the rules of the open qualifying let them do around here.
Yeah, and once we get that done, we will be able to get you your qualifying grid and your qualifying order for tonight's race here at Crandon International Raceway. And I'll tell you right now, the fastest time in qualifying was not a particularly close race by almost 2 seconds. It was the Channel 199X Subaru car. That rallycross car was blisteringly quick in qualifying, ran the fastest lap time by almost 2 minutes there. Just a ton of speed in that thing right now. We're going to get ready to go very shortly. I believe we're going to see those Subarus line up first. Yes, we will. Evan McFarland will pilot that Channel 199X Subaru with Justin Morton and Cone Misfits going from second. The 1, 2, 3 of Team Watson Racing, piloted by Matthew Lind, will go from third. It'll be Chris Leone in the 102 Yes2 Motorsports in fourth, and Gray Ledbetter in the 169 Yes2 Motorsports Red in fifth.
Profiles just behind. It's Team Gold. Actually, no, it's Team Red and FSS. I can't even read. Nicholas Datter leading up ahead of Boozy Racing with Dennis Mickelson. And further on back is Joel Ulrich and Fad Countryman for Team Golden Ascension. And then Connor Bowery and Ray Boudoin. I'm going to go with that. Last time I said something, I got it terribly wrong. Well, that's my shot. Moldan Lavovic and Warren Watkins line up next on the row. Keep in mind that you're often sharing a lot of horizontal space in these very wide rows rather than being right in front of each other. Todd Taylor for Dad Bods lines up in the back of that group.
Let's get through the rest of these here pretty quickly. Pro 2 trucks, it's Bennett Racing 2 with Jake Wilshire behind the wheel, right ahead of Bennett Racing 1 with Joey Kirk behind the wheel. And we are going green here, so I don't know if we're going to do a rolling start. I think we're just going straight off of this line here. It'll be Ascension Racing 137 and then James Burke, the rest of your Pro 2 trucks. And we are heading straight down to turn 1, and we're already wrecking big time here at Crandon. Some of those Beetles are getting flipped almost airborne as we head around here early on in this one. But right now, up out in front of the field, it is, well, it's carnage is probably the easiest way to describe it.
Yeah, there might not be an accurate running order for a short while, just given how much is happening on this track through these turns. You send, this many trucks and cars into one corner. Often the cars get turned into the perpetual victims of it all. Just trying to pile through the turn, almost 3-4 wide. There's your usual start-finish line on the track. Bit of a bump from the 4, and there's one going round in the back too. It's actually our lead that are pretty much getting away with this. By far the easiest. Everybody else is just tripping over each other, trying to get anywhere on this track.
Yeah, and you're going to see some madness here through the early parts of this race as these trucks are currently the fastest cars up here at the front of the field. But I would expect that to change pretty quickly. I would expect some of those Subarus to really shoot their way through. There's a massive slide coming in from that Team Radin car. Almost took the spot there. They're going to fight right back, and that Boozy Racing machine is going to grab it back around the outside. You can see all the dirt being kicked up from rows and rows and rows of cars making their way around this racetrack.
And even though the Subarus are faster over race distance, they often have to give up a lot of space early on just for the trucks treading over them. The number 199 of the Channel 199 car has managed to hold a decent position on the track. But other than that, there's roundabout trucks all over. That's the whole row of them right behind. The 4 still leading that, led by Connor Barry. Next Subaru back is in P9. They're going to have to climb through quite the pack, but this race is going to have some of the dynamics of multi-class as well, and when it all sorts of dies down, where pit stops are going to spread this field out a bit. I will say there's no such thing as a quiet moment of track over the race distance here, no matter what, though. I think you're always tripping over someone on the way.
No, we're still very early on in this one, only about 2.5 minutes in here tonight, and it has been a show already. You've got racing for the lead, racing all through the field. Team Gold Esports trying to check out. They're up in front of this truck class, but they've not really been able to do it yet. Team Radin not letting them go. And then that class leader there in the Subaru Rallycross car, the Channel 199 machine, is slowly closing in. We think that car, over the course of this long run here, over the course of the 2 hours, should make its way up to the lead and should start to pull away. Those Subarus do seem to be faster than the Pro 4 trucks once we get it going, but right now they did have to start behind that class, so they are still making their way back up through the field.
Count on any car to maybe get sent to the Shadow Realm at any point by anyone around them and completely change the nature of this race. I have seen drivers have to tow here before, even though there's no damage. You get stuck in terrible places over the walls, upside down. That's going to cost you time. Just being turned or spun, that's going to be tricky. Here, first fastest laps on the board, Team Gold Esports, who really just got away with it off the start. Our Team Watson are following up to try and challenge, but really out of everybody that just tripped over each other and wrecked each other on the track, our leader got very, very lucky. Got a lot of clean air. Now 2 seconds down for the next car. He just gets to run laps until he's lapping somebody himself. Just see the Subaru making the move for P2, so they are starting to make up pace now on the track. Once Channel 199 get their clean air, they shouldn't have too many problems for a short while, but you can see the class split already among these faster cars.
Yeah, while we are watching this happen, I do want to go through some of the cars we were not able to highlight there during that starting grid due to how quick this one got rolling. It's Team Rick, currently leading the Pro 2 Light Truck class, driven by Keenan Kusin. Racecraft Academy, Sean Winkler right behind him. Aaron Smith in the Yellow Vision machine, third. Matt Schlosser for Interstellar SRV, fourth in that class. The Rolling Chicane, number 94 of Jimmy Mensch, is in fifth. No Limits Garage sits sixth for the Pro 2 Light Trucks. And on my way to the Licasto, currently running last in that class in the 913. Leader of the VW Beetle Lights right now is Move Over Its Speedy Time. Brian Sawyer running the 535. YNA Beetle, Gail Brooks in the 510, piloting that one to second. TWRS Vortex 26 Beetle Boys, driven by Eric Dubois in third. Snoop, there it is, in fourth, driven by John Borst. Prime Pays, but Sim Racing doesn't, in fifth in that class, driven by Chris Lunan, and bringing up the rear is Miss Apex Sim Sport. Travis McQuiston behind the wheel of that one at the moment. There is your full field as we're getting some pile-ups down in that corner. That's Core Off-Road. Warren Watkins behind the wheel as that one sits 8th overall, getting into it with Cone Misfits. One of those pretty quick Beetles currently second in that, one of those pretty quick Subarus second in that class, moving their way up the field right now.
Now we have had our little window of settling down after the chaos of the race start. There's going to be plenty angling for position all over the track. Our Deuce is basically going to need to pick a favourite and go for it. Here's our leader in the VW Beetle Lights. Moved over its speedy time. Well, not the speediest car on the track, but definitely speediest in its class. There's a lot of trucks between them and the next team you need a Beetle behind. So, I mean, I have seen many Beetle get, unfortunately, completely wiped out of existence. But for now, the gap is quite solid, and space like this is going to help make some time out. Now here's our results by class, so we can break down after the start of our race roughly how each group is starting up.
And that Channel 199 car just took the overall race lead away from Team Gold Esports. We figured that would happen here pretty quickly after the race starts. Those Subarus are very quick on the long run here, faster than the Pro 4 trucks. So Josh Edmondson in that 199 will be driving away with the lead of that class, but Thad Countryman gonna bring it back to him. They're racing for the overall lead of the race up there. Well, it looks like Thad Countryman will not be able to put the move on him. Josh Edmondson doing a good job to hold that spot for the time being as we are looking a little bit deeper in the field here. This is the VW Beetle Light car. Move over its speedy time 5:35. Brian Sawyer is currently the one behind the wheel of that one as he moves his way up through the field. This is the Pro 2 truck leader of Bennett Racing, Zach Amsbasher. Behind the wheel of that car at the moment is Josh Edmondson, after finally taking the lead away, has just run the fastest lap of the race there. Bennett Racing, Zach Amsbasher teamed up with Sean Winkler to win the Pro 2 class in the season-opening Sierra Nevada 100 this season. He's trying to win this one in class here in the Pro 2 trucks. It is Tom Monamoose is the other driver behind the wheel of that one.
So that was a bit of a wild start, and we only caught a little bit of it, and we have some replays of quite what happened up and down the field in order to get a sense of just how silly the land rush is. We'll be getting those loaded up any moment, and we'll be able to maybe not forensically break it down like a professional iRacing broadcast, because it might just be a lot of cars flying into each other, but all throughout the field something unique was happening to somebody. That's quite a rough launch from the Subaru there in the middle of the field. It almost feels like a Crandon Championship, but a little bit misplaced, and that's where it begins. At this point, what are you but a hapless victim? That Subaru in the back has been brutalized more than any other car I've seen here. That car right there is the root of all of this.
Yeah, there were a couple cars a little bit deeper in the field that just had, I would say the best way to describe it would just be a very bad time a little bit further back in the field. And yeah, you saw a little bit of it there. We had one Subaru go flying through the air, one Beetle go flying through the air. That's the 123 car getting turned around. That is Team Watson Racing that is in the middle there. If you would believe it, they're actually running 5th right now. That car is in 5th.
Team Watson
overall.
is a name I associate with esports, and it's a name I associate with making your way back no matter the adversity. Here are some of the Beetles you were looking for instead. Some got better launches than others. I'm going to hope that Lunan is a name so that I can easily spot it on the
time
tower.
pays, but Sim Racing doesn't. The 555, who is going to get a little bit of airtime here. Maybe more than a little bit of airtime.
Isn't it amazing what these cars can put up with? They build them out the strongest materials nowadays.
I think that thing could have survived like a tank impact. Tank would have just rolled right over it. Car would have been fine. Here's Connor Berry. This is the CB Johns Head crew chief, number 4 car. Connor is a 2-time iRacing off-road world champion and real-world pro light driver. He had Drake Midag fill in for him to open the season at Wheatland due to injury, and they finished 2nd in the Pro 4 class together in the season-opening Sierra Nevada 100. I believe when we saw the Yes2 Motorsport series at Wild West earlier on in the season, these two did an IRL driver change. I do not believe we will be seeing an IRL driver change tonight, but we did have the camera on that, and it was truly something to behold.
There is another team, in fact, that does have the same rig in North Carolina. It's the 169 car of Yes2 Motorsport. They are going to be doing an IRL driver change. I don't know if we're going to be able to capture it this time, but they're part of the Channel 199. They will be involved in Rallycross Americas with the season opener as well. See quite a few Yes2 Motorsports cars here. It's always good to fill out the grid with some of your own. There might be some more as well planning it, but I spotted the one from some of the team details we got that was doing that, in fact. And do you have to swap accounts like in the seat? I know people have tried this. For officials, you do.
For officials, yes. This one was they are given an exception to the rule where they are allowed to violate the fair share limit and just race on one account here for the series if they are doing an IRL driver swap in this one. That way they don't waste too much time. I mean, we saw that IRL driver swaps can come with their own set of issues. I believe when Connor Berry did one last time, they accidentally knocked the brake pedal out of position and lost a lot of time trying to get the rig reacquainted. So that was an issue with that IRL driver swap that can come into play. Here's Chris Leone in the 102. We'll be hearing from him later, driving that Yes2 Motorsport blue car, currently sitting 3rd in class. there with the Subarus. 3rd out of 5 in that class right now.
Yeah, so actually that's Russell, but it's Chris's account. So as expected, that name's going to stay. Chris will be back later, but for now, a teammate running it. And I mean, me and my sad little 16:9 mind monitor looks at some of these setups and goes, you know, some people they put it all into it, and they get very, very, very worn down along the way. I mean, a race like this, you've got to turn your force feedback down, and maybe your arms might not make it by the very end. I mean, you're not usually supposed to run these things for 2 hours straight, but that is part of the fun.
It's a true endurance race. These races are very, very bumpy as we are getting some racing here for the lead of the Pro 2 truck class between Bennett Racing and Bennett Racing 2. That one is very close there for the lead of that one. You got the 607 of Jake Wilshire trying to track down the 22 of Zach Amspasher. Both of these cars running behind the Pro 2 Light No Limit Garage car. We're going to go 3 wide there for a moment. The 2 darker colored cars in this battle are the 2 Bennett Racing cars. It's the green one out in front. That's Zach Amspasher. It's Jake Wilshire right behind him in the blue one. And they are going to go door to door through this corner. Wilshire tries to get him, can't get it there. Isn't able to get the exit off the corner. Amspasher did a great job of taking that line away. Great line there for Amspasher to continue to keep Wilshire behind him. These two are going to do battle here for a little bit. Not really teammates, but from the same organization in the 607 and the 22. And they have a chokehold on the lead of the Pro 2 truck class tonight. No one even really within 5 seconds of them right now as these two continue to race for the lead here. All Wilshire needs is one good run with the amount of hairpins here, but so far he's just not able to get to it. Might take a little bit more of a slide job if he wants to get that spot. We will see.
If you love what you're seeing, I've seen a few people in the chat ask, you know, how do I potentially get involved in a league like this? Well, you can search up Yes2Motorsport online. I don't know if I have a link for you right now, but it will be as it is in the title. They do accept participants. They are open to all. And if you have some friends that you would love to see on the track like this, I'm sure they would be able to fit you right in. This is definitely a league. There are points, there is technically a champion, but they are here for fun and a good time. So do not worry about not being esports enough around here. Feel free to look them up and get involved. I'm sure they are absolutely looking for more out here on the track. You've said that these two teams are sort of teammates in arms, but I think this is sort of a league where as long as you're not like wrecking the other car with no sportsmanship, the gloves are off. You know, there is a difference between making contact and wrecking people in dirt road, and sometimes people don't really understand the difference, and that you can move someone, but you probably shouldn't fly in from another zip code and just send them into another country. These two cars are going to now split off as the 607 is going to take up some refueling, but we may see a little bit of tasteful contact throughout the race. I sometimes have seen some racing at Crandon sort of cross the line of aggression and sort of become just needlessly violent. But still, I mean, even against teammate teams, you give someone a nice little nudge, nice little touch. I think that can be a way around sometimes. That's just how it has to be on dirt. There is tolerance for this.
That is the Bennett Racing 2 car, or the one that came into the pits there. Jake Wilshire, the driver of that one, and I believe he will stay in the car there in the 627 as he comes back out onto the racetrack. Here's Connor Berry running fourth in a battle with a couple cars here back in this Pro 4 truck class. He's going at it with Boozy Racing and Gold League Sports here. Barry is currently side by side with that Boozy Racing 946. Mickelson in that 946 is going to take the spot. And here comes Lakovich in the Gold League Esports car. 3 cars under a blanket here for third in this Pro 4 truck class. Lakovich has it right now, but Mickelson right back around the inside. And as these two are stuck behind 2 Beetles, 2 of the slower cars in the field who are having their own little battle right up in front of him. This is getting really good because they are struggling to clear these cars. Connor Berry with a move down to the inside was able to get Mickelson there. Got to the door of Lakovich but couldn't get him clear. Berry in the 4. He's going to have to find a way around. Lakovich is just going to try to run over the Beetle. It'll send him a little bit wide. He'll still make it out of the corner cool. Chris Lunan is now going to be a little bit of a pick here as he's sorted out in between Lakovic and Barry, and it's a big run down the straightaway now for Dennis Mickelson. They'll go 3 wide with the Beetle. That's going to be a little bit scary for all of them, but they make it out all right. Dennis Mickelson is going to move up to that 4th position. Barry now back to 5th, and Mickelson will be the one pursuing Lakovic. Did we just have a car go off the track in that class? I think we might have had a car in the pits there. Team Gold Esports, driven by Thad Countryman, I believe, just made a pit stop there in that class. And that's why they have dropped way back. Yes,
I'm
they
seeing
did.
some
Thad
of the
Countryman
trucks
came in
run
the
out of
pits.
fuel on their way to the pit box, and number 4 is crawling his way towards the pit box. Like, he slowed down a long time before he had to. I think he could make it, but I was seeing that thing slow down a lot sooner than expected.
It's still going 10 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour. He's going to get it in there barely, I think.
There you go. Just get it rolling. Now, rule number 1, of course, is don't brutalize the Beetles. It's just bad form, really. I mean, I think bad karma will come to chase you down if you knock a Beetle out of contention. Now, Subarus, I don't know where the power differential sits, because you're bigger, but you are the slower. So, you know, what's the game behind that? It's never really good. It's not good class to hurt another class at all, really, but it's especially bad class to kill the Beetles. I mean, just think about what you're doing around here. I'm glad that so far somebody's made it out here unharmed. I'm not going to say all of them as a guarantee, because we can't catch every car that possibly goes around on this track. We just have to make good guesses. They do a lot of time in the production game, and I feel only pity for Christian, having literally done Yes2Motorsport at Crandon before. It's hard out there, and you have to sort of hope and pray it's all going down for you.
And that was a pit stop there for every Pro 4 truck car on basically the same lap, I believe. Countryman came down 1 lap early, but every other car made the move down, and I think we might have got some driver changes there. Nicholas Dachelet, oh no, he was in the car before, so no driver changes as of yet there for that Pro 4. Would like to mention one of the cars that came down in that Pro 4 truck class. That is the 55 Core Off-Road, driven by Warren Watkins at the moment. Jack Klepchik is the other driver who will be behind the wheel of that one tonight. They are with Core, which is Championship Off-Road Esports. That is primarily a Pro 4 league that runs Saturday nights, excuse me. They have a Division 1 series that is pay to race with cash season payouts, and a Division 2 series that is free to race, but capped at 2,600 iRacing. So that is Championship Off-Road Esports. If that sounds like something that might interest you, as we're going to get a replay. Here is the 5:35 move over at Speedy Time, going for a ride and taking a couple cars with him, and ultimately going over there. That was Ascension Racing, one of the Pro 4 trucks was the other car involved in that flip. One flip
Bad karma.
that we know of.
Like, as I said, like, you knock one over, you get bad karma. Look out for that truck later. It's not going to end well. Something's going to happen. Maybe a Beetle's going to come in from the top rope and deliver it himself. Great Beetle of Justice. Who knows?
Continue to watch. Go a little bit further back in the field. Even current leader of the current leader of the Pro 2 Light truck class. That is Yellow Vision, Aaron Smith, behind the wheel of that one. I feel like I've called Aaron Smith racing in leagues on about 3 or 4 different kinds of surfaces. He's basically everywhere on iRacing, and he is, no matter what he runs in, incredibly talented. He's doing battle right now with the Team Rick car. That is for the lead of that class. Aaron Smith is doing an Instagram series on at Yellow VSN called Can It Rallycross, where he's taking more than 20 different cars on the Charlotte Rallycross track and seeing what kind of lap times they turn. He finished second in the Beetle Light class with the season-opening Sierra Nevada 100, and it's Keenan Kuzin right behind him there in that Team Rick truck, losing a lot of time off that corner. Bad speed for them as they head down the straightaway. That is Cisco Scaramuza and Keenan Kuzin behind the wheel of that one. Cisco is a key part of the iRacing broadcast team. Meanwhile, Keenan has been doing an uncapped streamathon at twitch.tv/AeroTEQ for more than 150 days. I wonder if that's going to affect his driving at all.
every time I try and get into streaming, like I sort of do it for like a couple weeks. I burn out hard. I'm about to try again soon. This isn't a place for self-promotion on the name, but I'm just saying, like, I can barely keep it up for more than a few weeks. So if you'd like to sub up on for days, then I'm not going to say be my guest. I'm just going to say I hope you're having a really, really good time. Quite frankly, but I'd tell you that takes human endurance. That takes human endurance, maybe even more so than getting around Crandon quite like this. Even Producer was shocked when he heard it in line. So that's that's one right there.
This is a great battle here for both of these cars. Kuzin had the lead there for a moment, and then Aaron Smith was just able to take it away there in that 970 car as we continue to do battle for the lead of the Pro 2 Light Truck class at the moment. Kuzin, I don't think he's going to be scared to try maybe another big move out of these corners. Aaron Smith is just a little bit more consistent exiting these corners. Kuzin being a little bit more aggressive kind of on that corner entry in comparison. Working pretty well for him. There is Keenan Kuzin. There you see him right there. He's also live on Twitch, as we have previously mentioned, but we got his face cam up right there for you as well, as he continues to try and hound that Aaron Smith bright yellow machine. One spot up in front of him right there.
I mean, I'm curious because I don't do too much on the dirt road, so don't even ask me about how I get around a dirt oval. The answer is not really at all. I'm curious as to like how you race differently when chasing someone down in a race like this. I know that you see a lot more aggression in the sort of typical dirt road racing because the races are pretty short in their distance. You've got to make your moves happen. When there's 2 hours, I mean, it can be hard to control these cars, can be hard to force a move. I think it's about looking for opportunities. Like that one that just might have been open and the car had going quite wide on the jump, but there's so many dimensions to dirt road racing. And sometimes that is you take the non-optimal line and actually you go faster for it because they're getting disturbed now by other trucks and other classes, and Team Rich has lost
Racing,
a lot of time down the road.
Yeah, it's the Boozy Racing 946 running P9 overall, running 6th in that Pro 4 class that just got around them. Trucks look a little bit similar at a quick glance, but that is the Pro 4, the fastest truck in the field, and this battle is the Pro 2 Light, the slowest truck in the field. This is the only class that allows solo drivers to run the full race, so I believe Aaron Smith is taking them up on that offer and running the full 2 hours alone behind the wheel of that yellow Vision 970 as we continue to watch Keenan Kuzin there as he tried to catch Aaron Smith, who's getting a little bit of separation here at the moment. Those Subaru cars have finally made their way fully through the field to channel 199 with a 23 second lead on the Cone Misfits, who are second overall, and then Team Radden is about 7 seconds behind that one at the moment. That is the first Pro 4. Here's another move from Kuzin as to back out there, but like we said, he's willing to take really big bites on the entry of that corner, and Aaron Smith has just been a lot more consistent exiting the corner, and that's what's kept him the lead. Kuzin trying to avoid contact, even though it's a no damage race here, no cautions or anything. He wants to race Aaron Smith respectfully. You're seeing that here. He doesn't want to cause any problems, doesn't want to make any moves that would be a bit egregious. He's going to race him pretty tight, but pretty clean. Keenan Kuzin still looking for a way around this 970.
I've just caught a brutal flip, by the way, on my other monitor while we were doing that. I was about to commentate on action, but if you check out what just happened to the 102, I think you might be able to increase the counter. You might, well, I mean, you've got to keep balance that with this incredible battle going on at the same time. More cars trying to make their way up through the middle now, 4 wide. Get a Beetle in there for good measure. The faster truck able to get by the Beetle on the straight. It's just not quite doing it. It's got a lot of strength in the turns. It's a lot lighter, a lot more nimble. It can just slide around the outside. Now both other classes out of the way. These
Beetle off in the dirt.
Yeah, well, bye-bye. He did that onto himself, so no bad karma for anyone there on the track. And I honestly feel like with some of this contact, someone might go around, but these drivers know each other.
By the way,
and their trucks very well.
That was a pass for the lead there. The 720 of Sean Winkler. We were so caught up in that battle with Aaron Smith and Keenan Kuzin that Sean Winkler in the Racecraft Academy car came from the top rope and blew past both of them. And now he is the leader of that Pro 2 light truck class ahead of Kuzin and Aaron Smith. And more lap traffic trying to make their way through. Move over at speedy time, and the overall race leader, that channel 199, Josh Edmondson, getting around Aaron Smith, who's fallen from the lead of that Pro 2 light truck class all the way back to third. He's got a tall order doing this whole race alone. You see the straightaways here where these smaller cars really shine. The 720 gets caught up on the rear bumper there of the move over its speedy time car. I will be saying that team name about as often as I possibly can here. Keenan Kuzin for Team Rick still looking in second, although now he's trying to chase down a whole different car. Maybe has a little bit more to learn about how that 720 is going to drive him and what the best way to get around him would be now that Aaron Smith is temporarily out of the picture for the lead of that class.
When a battle ends, it only closes the door, though, and there's plenty of chances for it to come back to him over the course of the race. These Pro 2 lights, certainly just in such an unusual place on the track here. We finally have Sean Winkler's cam, and yeah, I mean, I sure have done some very hyperactive racing in VR, so I don't get sick. Not everyone gets sick out there, but it still has to be an extra tiring on your head. Also a very, very powerful wheel under him as well. Why not? That is how you know that someone's dedicated to the craft, though. Crawling his way through the turns now. Team Rick behind with Yellow Vision in third. We're getting new fastest laps on the board. They're coming out from the Subarus. This time it's Team Watson.
Sean Winkler there. You see it in the background. I believe if you have a home that you need to sell, you might be able to call Sean Winkler there. Sean teamed up with Zach Amspasher to win the Pro 2 class in the season-opening Sierra Nevada 100 and will attempt to become the first legal solo class winner in Yes2 history in the Pro 2 light class. And I feel like it's even more impressive if he gets that done. 2 hours at Crandon in a VR headset. That has to be a challenge, to say the least, as Brian Sawyer of Move Over at Speedy Time will be coming into the pits. We're seeing a couple pit stops being made there for drivers of that class at the moment.
I heard the word replays in my ear, maybe even the number 3 if I'm going to be so tasty myself. But that means we get exciting things on the track. Our number 5, a little bit of oversteer, and one thing leads to another on the road. He's okay for now, but I wonder if this ends really well for him. He gets away with it. He gets away with it. You never really know. You never really quite know what's going on. Here's the You Need a Beetle team. It's always happening to the Beetles. It makes you think that, unfortunately, there's a wall there, so that's going to be problematic.
We're going crazy in the live picture, by the way. Look at this. Keenan Kuzin. He almost had that lead there.
Which side are we looking at more? Which side are we more excited about? And this might be the flip I identified earlier. This might be. Because I saw this and I just thought it was very funny. In the
oh, Lord.
Plus 50 points of karma for that one.
That's the Yes2Motorsport blue car having a bad time. I would like to identify that the first replay that we saw in that sequence was Team Snoop. There it is. And I would just like to point that one out tonight because we have some incredible team names in the field for this one, and the Beetle class and the Pro 2 Light class are both absolutely on point. I am very impartial to Team On My Way to the Lickistow. That is all lowercase. That one's incredible if you see it there on the Pro 2 Light ticker there in 6th.
There's nothing like a funny team name to just break things up. Sometimes when I do endurance and iRacing, I'll just look to see who brings the funniest team name and just like message their team about it. Like, you guys are the best name in the lobby, good job. And sometimes I try to beat that, but unfortunately I'm not funny. So I can't actually ever be the best name in the lobby. I can only try to be as good. Racecraft Academy on board here. Team Rick still chasing him down, but they seem pretty confidently in control of that class for now. All for now, as here comes a Subaru to fly through between them. It's very easy to see maybe a gap made up in one way, then lost again in the next turns because there's so many approaches through the turns here on the track. is Team Gold in a little bit of a traffic jam. That hairpin really is the source of all the traffic jams around here.
By the way, we did get a third flip. The 169 of Gray Ledbetter crashed into a spinning Benjamin Zvoda for No Limits Garage. And that was your third flip of the night. Gray Ledbetter did a complete barrel roll, and then we tried to drive off like nothing happened, and then ended up colliding with the start-finish line pole. There is your third flip of the night that we have caught at the broadcast. It took him a little bit to get that car going back around. Problems there with that 169. That car's been having problems all race. Currently running dead last on the field. It's not been a good night for that 169 Yes2Motorsport red machine. This is Thad Countryman for Team Gold Esports, and he is racing with multiple cars. You've got Cone Misfit in the 109 right behind him. That is for an overall position, not a class position. And up the inside right here is Mladen Lakovic in the 46 car, who is making some contact, not afraid to get his hands dirty with the 46 of Thad Countryman there. Excuse me, the 26 of Thad Countryman there. Try to get that spot away as Justin Morton for Cone Misfits will try to fly past all of these cars, but he's got to get on the brakes a lot earlier down there into the corner. He should have the better top speed and be able to use that to get around Countryman, but that 26 car is not going to make it easy on him. Even though they're not racing for class position, he wants that spot. The 109 is just going to have to power through around the outside. That could open up a lane here for Lakovic. Here we go. Lakovic down on the inside, way sideways, fishtailing off that corner. That allows Countryman to get right back up to the door there of that 46 car. And we'll go side by side as we head down here towards turn 2. Another big hairpin Countryman with a bigger lunge into the corner. Lakovic tries the crossover, but Countryman is there to block, and he's clear for P2 in the Pro 4 truck class.
That Subaru in the frame went way too wide and has dropped back. That was Cone Misfits 109, but still in P2 in that class. So now going to fight his way back through these two trucks. Again, really only one Subaru has become the absolute measure of the field. I mean, there aren't too many Subarus out here in general, but the Channel 109 car obviously miles ahead. Cone Misfits are in the middle of the trucks, and in the Yes2Motorsport blue car, and possibly due to their flip, they may have had to tow the car. It means they're behind all the Pro 4 trucks they should be faster than. Just having one unfortunate flip and having to tow just sets you so far back. It's the only time you're ever going to have to tow on the track because of the lack of repairs necessary as well. But I mean, it could happen to anyone as well at any point. So that's about the one other consolation you have to have, is that anything could happen, such as that one. Yippee!
No Limits Garage, Benjamin Zvoda, continuing to have a bad day, and I believe he has just opted to call it a night, and he is out of the session there in that car. Couple driver changes have finally taken effect. Oh, there's another one. That is the TWRS Vortex 26 Beetle Boys, Eric Dubois, the driver of that one when that occurred. And I'm told we have another here as well. This is, this is the Snoop There It Is car again, getting airborne. Repeat offender. Oh, that was sketchy.
This is something that the Rallycross Americas drivers are going to have to like contend with, is that this track does have these really big bumps on the side where if you touch them badly, you know, it doesn't really end well for you and your car. So maybe this is actually, give him some help. Give him some help. There's a reason he didn't tow. Oh, now this is plus 2,000 karma if he pulls this one off. Does anyone else get the idea, though, to help? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The trucks get it. You're allowed to hit a beetle to bring him back to life. I mean, would you do it if you saw a beetle upside down, a sad little turtle? You would flip the turtle over, unless you're heartless.
We have had a couple driver changes. Dalton Bach has gotten behind the wheel of the 4 CV and John's Head crew chief car. Joseph Pasucci has gotten behind the wheel for Crime Pays But Sim Racing Doesn't in the 555. And Aaron Kaplinger is now behind the wheel of Move Over It's Speedy Time in the 535. I believe everybody else still running with the drivers who came here and who started this racing qualifying. But as we are now about a third of the way through this one, I am expecting the rate of driver changes to increase pretty rapidly and for us to get some new blood in the field over the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. There's a battle on
New
track.
blood. New blood to sacrifice to the Crandon god. That's what I'll call it.
Here's a battle. We got a couple of them going on track right now. We've got multiple Ascension racing cars up here in this field. This is for us, the top one of Joel Ulrich. The one that's in a battle back here is the second one, Ray Baudo in this 586. Dennis Mickelson in the 946 is one spot ahead of him for Boozy Racing. Baudo trying to get himself a little bit further up the field so he can contend for this will be P6 overall, P5 in class, excuse me, P4 in class if he's able to get up there.
We're now slowly feeding in enough new blood to tackle the track. I mean, the fuel runs here are very short, actually. You can pretty much make it like 15 minutes in these trucks without having to refuel. I mean, that's what you get when you have a truck that isn't not designed for fuel efficiency. I mean, on one end you have, you know, things like the GTP hybrids are designed to be as fuel efficient as possible. On the other side of the spectrum, we've picked basically the biggest gas guzzlers in iRacing, the giant 4x4 trucks that were designed to run for no longer than 15 minutes at a time. So it does change things up considerably when they actually do have to make their pit stops repeatedly on the track. I believe we have unlimited tyre sets, which is probably useful. Oh, never mind, in part it's because some of these cars have brutal fuel limits. You know, there's a 35% fuel limit on the Subaru. I don't know about the trucks, but yeah, they have cut these things down to the bone. They want to force as many stops as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see those pit stops here really all throughout this one, I would say, as obviously those Pro 4 trucks need to come down pretty quickly. They are not exactly built for the whole 2-hour endurance race thing, so saw most of the field come down that last time. There were a couple cars who I think came down the lap before, so that will be basically everybody there in that Pro 4 class who has made a pit stop. Actually, Ascension Racing number 86 yet to come down. Everybody else has made that turn down pit road, as we see that Core Off-Road Warren Watkins in the 55 there. Once again, Warren Watkins in the Core Off-Road. Core is Championship Off-Road Esports, a primarily Pro 4 league that runs on Saturday nights. They have a Division 1 series that is pay to race with cash season payouts, and then a Division 2 series that is free to race but capped at 2600i rating. I don't believe we have the link on screen, but I can read the URL out to you if you were able to pick that up. That is lowercase s 9 capital T lowercase k x capital P lowercase r 3. And rewind that one if you are interested in joining Championship Off-Road Esports at the moment. Again, a 199 Subaru is putting a hurt on the field. 36-second lead for Josh Edmondson behind the wheel of that car. Josh said it earlier, but he's a race winner in the iRacing Off-Road World Championship. He knows how to get it done. He's paired up with Evan McFarland tonight. Josh is one of the founders of Racecraft, which is one of the leagues eligible for the Yes2Motorsport Cup of Leagues. Josh finished second in the Subaru class in the season opening Sierra Nevada 100. Evan finished third in class, and they might be able to one-up that here tonight.
I've done one more little bit of research, and no, the trucks really are using their whole gas tanks of this quickly. It's the rallycross cars that have been heavily fuel BOP to make sure they stop as much throughout the race. So yes, those trucks really do use the whole tank in 15 minutes, no takebacks. Isn't it good that we're in the virtual world and we don't need to think about paying for that? Plus, all of the tyre sets that everybody's using on every driver change stop. I mean, how many are you keeping in the back of the pit lane that big? Well, who already knows?
Whoa, there's a flip.
I think we spotted a flip off to the side. Some of the chats reckoned over under 15. I'm going to go 10 myself, but we can at least add 1 to the count. Actually, no, my guess is wildly off. Don't ever listen to me again, but that is enough one off to the side, caught live in action. And hopefully we'll be able to get back to that one in due time and spot quite how that happened. The race continues, though, with the 86 stuck between multiple classes and tipped over by a spinning Subaru. Keeps it in one go, though. Got to keep their place to that. Some of those mistakes from others around you just sort of cause the cascade down the line.
That was Joey Kirk in the 137 who was that first flip, and there you go. That car takes a little bit of a tumble for Ascension Racing 3. We'll eventually get back showing Ascension Racing 3, I believe the lowest of the 3 Ascension Racing cars, mostly because it is running a different class of truck, as we're getting some tight racing back here. Joel Ulrich is going to make some contact with Ray Bodo, and in the 2 other Ascension Racing cars as they do battle for 8th place overall. 6th place here in this Pro 4 truck class with the 2 Subarus that have dominated this field at the moment.
I think it's over 15. The count's going to be over 15 because number one, we're halfway to 15, less than halfway through. And secondly, think about the bonus factor. Christian Hill's going to get better at spotting the flips as time goes on and he has more experience in it. So we're just going to catch more and more flips in time. So yeah, it's going to go over 15 by a lot. Why don't I even say 10? I forgot the count was at 7 already on the road. Watch that wall on the outside. We're seeing a Beetle lose that already. 86 keeps it in one place. I mean, it both has settled down in a way, and yet there is still something happening everywhere. Look at the way the dirt's been kicked up around the track, by the way. Obviously, the dynamic track, in dirt, a major feature of iRacing, but with this many trucks and cars running over for this long, big slick lines are running, and giant cushions are being built up on the outside. Who dares to use?
Yeah, we're finally, I think maybe for the first time all night, seeing some real space in kind of the top 2, top 3 lead battles here of many of these cars in the field, as it has been chaos up till now. This is the Bin It Racing number 22, driven by Zach Amspasher, currently running 2nd in the Pro 2 truck class behind Bin It Racing 2, who I think should maybe inherit the title of Bin It Racing 1, as long as they continue to lead this class by a solid 13 seconds. Racecraft Academy, that 720, after that battle we saw earlier in the Pro 2 light trucks, is really driven away there. He's pulled out to a 10-second lead. I mean, you can see how dirty all these cars are on your screen right now. Yellow Vision in the 970 is 10 seconds back, but it's only another 2 seconds back from there to Team Rick. And it's steady in that 985, having a decent time, and that 4 car has come into the pits again. It has not been a great race for Bach behind the wheel of that one with Connor Berry tonight, as new driver change has just hit the racetrack here. Looks like we've got Marcus Hagman behind the wheel for Yes2Motorsport Blue. Chris Leon's just come out of the car. Should be able to talk to him pretty shortly. TWRS Vortex 26 Beetle Boys with 2 Z's there instead of an S has put Robbie Kirtley behind the wheel for Eric Dubois. Everybody else who we've not mentioned yet is still using the driver they started the race with, and I think we obviously, as we approach what would be the fair share of halfway through the race for drivers with 2 drivers, or for cars with 2 drivers behind the wheel, I would expect the rate of cars coming in to use those driver changes is going to start to head up with time.
Worth noting as well sort of what's seen happening in the overall. The overall does not matter, you're only scored in your class, and in fact there's more points on offer for the larger, more competitive classes. But now, earlier on I mentioned that the Cone Misfits 109 was sort of stuck between trucks. Now that car's totally out there in P2 overall, right behind the Channel Subaru, right behind 30 seconds. It's relative, but that class gap has now changed, and the only Subarus that are further back have been involved in incidents on the road. We're watching the 000 right now as he gets a front row view to a battle that you might get to be a part of if he plays his cards right. This is one of the hardest turns on the track, just going so fast into such a tight hairpin, and then jumping back over the big jumpy hills. Team Radden's actually only about a second behind the P2 Subaru, so those classes could bump into each other again if something unfortunate happens. But for now, Robbie Kirtley has his own battles to deal with on the track.
And this 000 is really not too far. Well, I was going to say he's not too far behind Travis McQuistion there in the Mist Apex Sim Sport car, but that car has just made a pit stop, so he will no longer be not too far behind that 569 car at the moment. Let's say the fastest lap was run by Team Watson. Yes, it was. Who are 2 laps down, but clearly have found some speed with Zach Blanche in the 1-2-3 there. I don't know if they're going to be able to get 2 laps back, but they certainly have a lot of speed and can maybe get another lap on Yes2Motorsport. Blue could maybe take advantage of something going wrong for a Channel 199, for a Code Misfits, a car like that, and get themselves back up onto the podium there in that Subaru class.
I do love watching the Beetles, which are sort of stuck between classes just a little bit. Our leading Beetle is between Pro 4s of all things, and the rest are very scattered among the rest of the classes. There's not a very clear delineation where Beetles are ahead of the other classes. Sort of P2 is leading out all the Pro 2 trucks, but the rest are behind all the Pro 2 trucks. I mean, the Beetles get involved in a lot of stuff, so that might just make sense. Might be, if I was here, it might have to be the class I end up playing, because I don't know if I'd love a track, and I definitely don't have the skills for the full Subaru, so I think I would have to go in a Beetle, and I just have to go and pray. I earlier asked today, I mean, we got the new Formula V skins in iRacing, like, maybe they could make a really nice 6th class on the track, although with the lack of head protection, be careful, is all I'll say.
Because that is the... I just love that is the Beetle Boys with 2 Z's car right there. I mean, we've really got about 5 great names in a row. Maybe all 6 names in this class for team names are absolutely incredible there with. You need a Beetle, move over at Speedy Time. The Beetle Boys, the Missed Apex Sim Sport, Snoop, there it is. And Crime Pays, but Sim Racing does not. That is, Snoop there is, I would like to know, does have Snoopy on the doghouse on the hood. It is just a little bit hard to tell because there is so much dirt that has been kicked up on that car from all of it flying off the racetrack over the last 50 minutes or so of racing.
You do get your car fully cleared when you drive a change. That's why we're seeing some of them driven out. Anyway, I believe we've just had Chris drop into our booth, so we're going to finally have a good chance to talk to one of our league organisers. Chris, how you doing? And how was your first run out there on the track?
I was sloppy. I was very, very sloppy, but we avoided the most important thing to avoid, which is a toe. There were some mistakes that I made. There was an object that I drove through that I forgot was a solid object, did 2 barrel rolls. Sophie and I were having a little fun because I would pass Sophie, I would make a stupid mistake, and then I would have to pass Sophie over again. And I think we repeated this process about 3 times. But what's important is that I was able to hand the car off to Makis in the top 3 in our class. I think we were top 10 overall when I got out. And while obviously we're limited by having both Makis and Russell, so we've got the 3-driver team as opposed to the 2. That was perfect for me because the extra 20 minutes I probably would have started making stupid mistakes. So all in all, decent stint, and we'll hand off to those guys and see what they can do.
Obviously a very, very big talking point out of your participation in this is your involvement with Rallycross Americas. Now we're going to have a good few questions about that down the line, but the burning one in my heart to ask is I mean, you talk about how running some of these Yes2 races sort of on iRacing made you think maybe we can bring the Rallycross cars to this track in real life. Maybe that would be fun. How much work and convincing did that take, and when did you reach the conclusion that actually that might be a really good idea?
So the story goes, this idea started in 2021, and we did this the week between Christmas and New Year's, and we named it after my favorite bar in the Crandon, Wisconsin area, which was called Group Therapy. We called it the Group Therapy 100 because name a time of year when you could be, when you would need group therapy a little more than Christmas and New Year's. So we ran it, we had a great time, it was a lot of fun. Decided, we should do this with some of the other short course off-road tracks. And the Rallycross cars were always really fun. At that point, you saw some other series here in the States start toying with the idea of going to tracks like that. They were going to Firebird, they were going to ERX. Nobody had ever gone to Crandon. Once things started shifting and RallyX said, hey, we're going to take over promotion here in the Americas, I kind of beat down the door to get involved. And, you know, about a month afterwards, it was something that, you know, Jim Beaver and I had kind of been talking about. Jim was at King of the Hammers with Marty Fiolka, who was the track promoter out at Crandon. Jim and Marty got to talking. The idea kind of got relayed. You know, Jim had been involved with this event as well through, you know, JBE, Jim Beaver Esports, a little bit. And we brought it up just kind of to see, well, would they be down with it? And look, there's a reason why Marty Fiolka is an Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame member. And he was a great driver, but he is an excellent promoter and immediately saw the value in, let's try this. Let's see if we can further diversify Crandon weekend, because they've added the rock racing, you know, for the Ultra 4s, and you can see some of the rocks that they use on this particular scan. Not only there, but also back in Crandon land, which is not a part of the scan. You know, they figured, well, why not try to add something else? And so, you know, we put a lot of work into this. Last year, we had a demo with 5 cars and Labor Day weekend, which has 60,000 people, which I think might be, though it wasn't officially a race, I think that might have been the biggest crowd in person to ever watch Rallycross in the United States. So very proud of that. And next weekend, we go back and we do the racing thing for real. We've been announcing drivers. We've been landing some big names. Timmy Hansen, Robin Larson, who's won a few championships. Obviously, the Ericsons are going to be there. We have Jimmy Henderson and Johnny Holcher, who are coming up from, you know, who have been running Champ Off-Road, and they're going to pull double duty. We have Tyler Leach with the Lowenbro guys, who's 17 years old. We have Tommy Hallman, who used to be the, you know, one of the top drivers in the iRacing Rallycross World Championships. I'm trying to think of anybody who we have announced whose name I have forgotten. I don't think I've forgotten anybody who's public yet. We're still rolling these out. It's a little sketch, I will admit, to be still announcing drivers 8 days before you run your first race, but launching a racing series is hard, friends. It's very hard. I would not recommend it for the faint of heart, but we are working our butts off. We have a great schedule. We have terrific promoters in each market who are doing everything they can to help us succeed, and it's exciting. I have missed Rallycross. When GRC went under in 2018, it was something that I felt was kind of taken away from me, and I didn't have the opportunity to sort of control my own destiny in that. This, you know, when I'm not doing the day job at iRacing, you know, this has been a fun use of my free time to see if we can kind of bring some of this stuff back.
Yeah, Kristen, we talked about this a little pre-race, but the one that really jumped out to me when I took a look at your schedule was Eldora. Running this on an oval, I mean, what's that going to be like? Yeah,
so, I mean, with Eldora, first of all, Levi Jones, you know, who's at the track, and Tony Stewart as well, you know, have been so tremendously supportive in all this. I caught up with Tony, actually, at New England Dragway. He was in town last week, and we were talking about it. He was kind of geeking out on it. I hope Tony can make it for at least one of the show days. But, you know, it's... Eldora does have that concrete area on the inside of their oval that we're able to launch out of. They are going to have a section in the infield that we're going to go through. It will have a little tabletop jump, you know. So it's, in that way, it's not so different maybe from what GRC might have done in the past, where, you know, we went to Bristol at one point and we kind of cut through the infield, and we went to the dirt track at Charlotte, and a lot of that course was cut through the infield, you know. So that is a tried and true, you know, format that has worked different places here in the States, but there is a big difference when you're working with a track like Eldora that really has the resources to be able to focus on something like this. And you know, and I've been on some great calls with their team. You know, everybody's got a lot of enthusiasm, ton of ideas. You know, it's going to be a ton of fun. They moved the show to Friday and Saturday nights to make it easier for the fans to attend. You know, we'll try to wrap up by 9 p.m., get some fireworks going after the finals. It'll be really exciting and really interesting. You know, it's crazy that it's going to be back-to-back and 2/3 of our season is going to be done, and then we're going to have the layoff before we get to Trois Rivières a couple months later. But going to be, nonetheless, it's going to be really, really exciting. I'm just going to need to be up on my energy drinks and coffee from about now to when I get back on like the 30th.
What's one thing about this upcoming season that you're maybe looking forward to the most?
Just bringing the sport back to North America with a proper racing series. The biggest thing that I want to drive in here is all of the series that existed before this one have done some things right. They've done some things wrong, which is why they don't exist, but everybody had done some things right along the way. We had a thick notebook to be able to learn from. From the global rallycross side of things, one of the things that I thought was done really well was the 2012 season, where they went in, they integrated with existing events. Like, they were part of Coca-Cola 600 weekend at Charlotte. They were part of IndyCar weekend at Texas. They were part of NASCAR Cup weekend at New Hampshire. They were part of the SEMA show, things like that. The big thing that you could take, you know, from what we've had a little more recently is going to facilities where the dirt is already down and you're not spending a lot of money to haul in dirt, set it up for 3 days, and then have to tear it down. Those bills are incredibly expensive. I don't want to tell you how much money it would cost to build the elevated dirt hairpin on iRacing's Atlanta Rallycross track. That is a 7-figure piece. It really is. And for just one tiny little section of a racetrack. So that's not financially sustainable if you're just going to be doing temp tracks all the time. So to go to Crandon, you know, for this weekend, and certainly for Labor Day weekend where we did the demo last year, you're talking about events that already exist. You're talking about being able to integrate. The Brush Run Speed Festival has long been a Champ Off-Road event, and other series before that. It's been around for almost 35 years. You know there are going to be well over 20,000 people, possibly even 30,000 people there. You know, so we're coming to the people who are already going to be there for this. And they released the track schedule today, and we're integrated throughout the days, which is really exciting. So the people who are going to be there anyway, they're going to get a taste of this. You know, again, Eldora, half-mile dirt oval. The dirt's already there. And then when you close things out at Trois Rivières over here on the Americas side, you know, that is a proper World Championship grade rallycross track that they have built and iterated on over the past decade. So you're going to facilities that don't cause that sort of, you know, financial quandary of how do we keep this going? How do we keep this alive? You know, will we even have a season next year? Because there were a lot of times that people asked that. On top of that, over the years, Andreas and, you know, in First Corner have put in so much work in evolving rallycross cars to where the performance is exactly where it was 10 years ago, but the costs are substantially lower, making it a lot easier for these world-class drivers we've seen to continue to have the budget to run, you know, and so it's just, we're taking everything that we've learned from all of these different experiences that everybody else has had, and we're trying to put our best foot forward, and we're going to try to grow this at a sustainable pace with, you know, drivers that people have heard of, internationally, drivers that people have heard of here in the States. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and, you know, we are going to put in every bit of effort we possibly can to make this happen.
Where can people, if they're interested in checking it out, maybe watch the races, buy tickets, anything like that?
So rallyxamericas.com is our website. I am putting out driver announcement after driver announcement, and tagged at the bottom of every single one of those is your ticket purchasing link. We do a lot of international, you know, global streaming on the RallyX YouTube, which you can find through that rallyxamericas.com. We're also thrilled, we have TV on Racer Network. So we're going to have 20 highlight shows over the course of the year, which does not just include RallyX Americas. Those shows are also going to include all of the European events Certainly all the ones that have already happened. And then at the very end of the season, we have a global final in Montalegre, Portugal, which an amazing track. I can't wait to get to it the first time for me at the end of October. Perhaps you have played Montalegre in certain other gaming products. It's an awesome track. And we're going to bring all the European drivers and the North American drivers together for one kind of big festival of rallycross excellence. So, and I believe Racer Network's planning to carry that live, which will be really neat. So, lots of places to watch us. At rallyx.official is the Instagram, so that's a good place to follow us. And yeah, we are gonna have a ton of fun this season. Some great drivers, a lot of really cool names that I haven't even had a chance to announce yet. So plenty to be on the lookout for as we go from now to next week and finally turning some race wheels at Crandon.
All right, you got anything else for us?
Well, if you want to run one of these races, they're open to everybody. The next one is going to be towards the end of September. Yes2Motorsport.com has all the info when these come up. You can search for hashtag Yes2Motorsport in iRacing leagues, and you are welcome to join. We are essentially a league with one rule, and that is, if we're doing it, it has to be fundamentally different, unrealistic in some way, shape, or form. You would never get rallycross and off-road trucks multi-classing on a track like this. This is all of the off-road stuff on iRacing except for the cross car, basically crossbred with an IMSA sprint. And, you know, when we do our normal weekly stuff, it's that exact same concept. So, you know, the point is to have fun. The point is to, you know, do things that are a little different. You can find a ton of amazing GT3 leagues. You can find a ton of amazing NASCAR leagues. All of our officials, you know, are a great experience. But for the people who always want to be doing something a little off the wall, especially from the off-road side of things, we're your league.
All right, thank you so much for joining us up here in the booth, Chris Leone from Rally X Americas. Excited to see how that goes for you. I'm definitely going to be tuning in.
Appreciate you having me, and appreciate all the hard work that you're all putting in on this broadcast. It is something that I don't have the skill to do, so admire y'all taking the time and appreciate all the effort.
Yeah, thanks so much. Hope y'all have some good luck out there with Rally X America, and I hope y'all have some good luck out here for the rest of this race as we get back to 55 minutes to go here. That Chris Leone machine, there was the Yes2Motorsport blue car. It's currently Marcus Hagman behind the wheel of that one. They are sitting third in the Subaru class at the moment. Had a lot of driver changes while we were doing that, so I'm going to try and run through them real quick. It is Ricky Harden behind the wheel for the 3 Team Dad Bods. It is Don Runkle now in the car for Mist Apex Simsport. Austin Derrick driving for the 607 Bennett Racing 2. That is the leader of the Pro 2 truck class. Ant Meeperson behind the wheel, subbing in for Joey Kirk there in the 137 Ascension Racing 3. Tyson Miller now driving in the 23 Team Radin FSS, replacing Nicholas Jacquelet. In the 239 Please Move, Chase Spalding has gotten behind the wheel, replacing James Burke. Evan McFarland now in that top-placed 199 Channel 199 Subaru. They've actually gone a lap down there. I wonder, was that the car that had the driver change problem, maybe? Because they have gone a lap down after being very dominant up here in front of this race for most of it. We'll try to get some updates on what happened to that 199 car. Maybe just a bad pit stop there or a tow set them back, and they're going to have a lot of work to do to get back up to the lead. 86 Ascension Racing, it is Michael Boyd Jr. behind the wheel, replacing Joel Ulrich. It is Ton Monhemius for Bennett Racing in the 22, replacing Zach Amsbasher. It is Cisco Scaramuza now behind the wheel for Team Rick, replacing Keaton Kuzin. You Need a Beetle has Spencer Clark in the car. On My Way to the Licasto has Ruby Nikamata in the car. Matthew Lind getting in for Team Watson Racing, replacing Zach Blanche. And Snoop, there it is, has put Jared Michaud in the car for John Borst. And they're going to have a third driver in that 500 as well. Only cars out of the race right now, No Limits Garage, number 32, Yes2Motorsport Red, also done for the night. And I believe we might have also lost, unfortunately, Prime Pays, but Sim Racing doesn't along the way as well.
Well, I hope that you were all keeping your bets on the flip count updated, because I've received some wonderful updates on some wonderful flips in the field all during that interview. It was a pleasure to have it, but it means that we had to sort of stack up some of these replays in time. I've been told they'll be ready in just a second, and we can catalogue maybe who did it best. But with the number we've got, and I reckon we're hitting 15 in no time. So
can I jump in here real quick?
Now let's raise the bar over 25.
It is. I figured out what happened to the 199. Eric McFarland behind the wheel. Internet disconnection. Lost about a lap and a half. That is why that car went from the dominant leader of the race back to P11 while we were doing that interview. His internet broke.
He had actually been blinking in and out throughout the race. I sometimes saw him disappearing on the scoreboard sort of from the start. So I wondered if that maybe was going to hit at some point worse, and it really did. But he's one lap down. What are the odds he comes through and makes the comeback happen in just under an hour? I think that would be a very, very, very fun story. So I think we're going to have to watch along with it. 52 minutes to go, just over halfway on the track. Now Cone Misfits are leading overall, but Team Gold Esports lead the Pro 4 trucks, which are by far one of our busiest classes on the track. Quite a few Subarus together, then it's Beetles, then it's Pro 2s, and then finally the Pro 2 lights are always a little bit slower than I anticipate they're going to be. That's what happens when you power restrict a heavy truck, I think. Maybe I shouldn't be too surprised.
Let's see if we can get those full war flips I have been informed that we had during that interview back up on the screen here very shortly. Yeah, PC crash for Evan there, showing as an internet disconnection on iRacing side. Here's the 4 car. CB and John said crew chief Connor Berry, one of the drivers behind the wheel. That one went up and over during that stint. So not an ideal situation. This is the 599 car the 569 of Missed Apex Sim Sport. That is Don Runkle driving that one, and that is not a great start for him in his stint. We're back on the 500 here. This is Dubois behind the wheel, and that is that car having a miserable time. It seems that's the 000, not the 500, but that was Dubois behind the wheel at the time of that happening. Robbie Kirtley has gotten behind the wheel of that one now. And here is the 586 machine. This is the Ascension Racing Ray Baudon going over.
Happens
11.
To the best of us. I thought we were going to be closer to 15. The bet is on. Okay, over under 20, Sky. That's the game, I think. No, so to be clear, someone in the chat said 15, which is where we started this number. I thought it was wildly wrong until suddenly it turned out that it's probably going to hit over. And now I've been trying to move the goalpost on the second number that I think is going to be more competitive. So I think that's going to be 20. 25 is too much. 15s are going to happen. Over under 20.
All right, Cone Misfits is absolutely running away. That car is in the pit lane right now for some regularly scheduled service. But prior to that, had a 33-second gap for the field and about a lap and a half gap back to the second car there in the WRX class. It has been putting a drive on the field as the channel 199 tries to push its way back up. It's currently running P3 in class at the moment, P10 overall. Long way to go, and not a lot of time to do it if it wants to get that lead back after that PC crash there, but it's not over yet. I think they could definitely get second away from Yes2Motorsport Blue. I think that's a very realistic goal for them, and I think they can maybe get it back on the lead lap if they continue to push in that car. As we see battle going on for the Beta Light class. Looks like this is the 00, as we see right here on screen. That car is going to get door banged out of the way, and the You Need a Beetle Spencer Clark car is going to go flying by in the 510. Robbie Kirtley, though, now behind the wheel of that 000 is going to catch right back up. Pretty clearly has some speed there down the straightaway, and that car is going to continue to hassle that 5:10 as he tries to take away second. A little bit of a slide job there. So once again, this is for second in the VW Beetle Light class, as you're seeing a replay on the bottom, real time on the top for that 500. And it will finally get clear for P13 overall, but he's going to go way wide off in the mulch. Luckily, a good exit will hold that spot for him over Spencer Clark.
The word mulch is a bit of a Marconi Entertainment classic, but let's not dwell too much on that right now. We'll end up down a rabbit hole. Those that know. That's our leader, sort of Cone Misfits, Subaru. Now is working its way back up through traffic after a pit stop. You know, it's taken it back down a few places, but I am fascinated in the run from this Yes2 Motorsports blue car. I really do think that...
Whoa, you need a Beetle just flipped.
Another one.
This was in that battle. You Need a Beetle had fallen quite a bit behind Robbie Kirtley there in the 000 and just completely locked it up into the corner, went straight into the wall down there in turn 4 and hit a barrel roll for flip number 12 that we have caught as channel 199. Evan McFarland wheeling that thing, trying to get it back up the field. There's your flip.
Another one.
By the way, we'd like to shout out some of the drivers we have not really mentioned yet tonight. Matt Schlosser in the 400, running 4th in class right now in that Pro 2 Light truck, the 400 Interstellar SRV. Matt is founder of Special Stage, one of the leagues eligible for the Cup of Leagues, here with Yes2 Motorsport. We are continuing to make our way around here in the second half of this race, just over 45 minutes left to go. It's Skystrike, it's Howie Burrows, it's Christian Hill up in the booth here tonight for the inaugural hashtag Yes2Motorsport 2. Yes2, I should say, Hours of Crandon, as we are having a great time here with damage off, no cautions, no restarts, 5 classes racing for 2 hours around Crandon with 46 minutes left to go, and we have seen quite a lot of action here all throughout the course of tonight. Got a couple cars in the lead. The 607 Bennett Racing 2. Austin Derrick, driver of that one, just came down from the lead of the Pro 2 truck class. Meanwhile, in driver change land, Cone Misfits, your race leader, have finally swapped out Justin Morton. It is Benjamin Serna behind the wheel of that 109 right now. Well, they've cycled back to second here on pit stops. They will be the race leader once Team Gold Esports, driven by Thad Countryman, who's been behind the wheel of that car for the entire race so far, eventually makes his way down and gets replaced by his teammate Adam McAfee.
I've talked about track evolution, but you can see how staggering it is now. We're going to turn the racing line into an asphalt track by the end of this. You could probably bring out a regular sports car with it on the track and be able to get it around with what's happening on the inside of all of these turns. No one's really brave on the outside. I think the dark dirt is comfortable out there. We're not taking the comfortable way around. We are continuing to slick up that racing line, but you can just see just how much varies over such a long race. They usually just do not run this long. Usually you do a heat race with lots of track resets. Here, we are just going to run this entire thing until there's nothing but tarmac left and leave a horrible job for those who have to resurface the track after the fact. It's not stopping these drivers, though. They are pretty comfortable. Where it's possible, you can see that many are just trying to sort of stay out of that slick groove now. The way you have to drive the track is always changes on dirt road, but I mean, dirt racing in general, but it's just never really this pronounced, and it's very interesting to see drivers react to that in highly different ways in their runs.
Team Gold Esports Thad Countryman will come down to the pit lane, and I would not be surprised if that is the last we see of Thad Countryman, just because he does need to meet that fair share requirement and get his teammate in there at some point. And yes, I believe that driver change will come now. Here comes in Adam McAfee in the 26 there for that lead car in Pro 4. They will pit, they will drop behind Team Radin FSS. Tyson Miller is currently the driver behind that car, and he will inherit the lead of the race until that car has to make a pit stop, which I do not think will be very long from now.
how much more fuel do you think they even have in reserve down there at the in the pit lane? I mean, we've had to burn through so much. Yeah, they're going to roll in more of it throughout race distance. Some drivers really try to take it easy through these turns, almost drive it like grip car racing through the turns. Adam McAfee there just sort of tiptoeing, as it can be quite hard to find a good line to run on, and there's traffic coming up on you as well. But that's a Pro 4 that is even just running us a little bit down on pace, just trying to maintain, I think, rather than push for too much more. You're fourth in the top class, so it's a good result to get out of it.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see how this ends up ultimately cycling around here for a lot of the drivers in this class. Adam McAfee is somewhere there, deep in the background. There he comes out into the frame in that 26 car. Looking down a little bit deeper, in the field here. I guess we can't really go deeper in the field because this is the main battle right now with McAfee, and this is Mickelson going at it for one of the positions in this Pro 4 class, P3, as Mickelson is going to end up coming into the pits here, and that will mark the end of that battle. You got Aaron Smith in the yellow vision car, Brian Sawyer, and move over at speedy time right behind this battle.
And that's McAfee in the pit lane, although there's rarely a clear angle on that pit lane in general. It's very easy to get tripped up on production. Ask me how I know. But they've stuck it behind that big wall just to cause us problems. Now it's David Holdren we taking up the four. Maybe it was running too slow to save fuel. We've seen some cars with fuel issues throughout this sort of crawl towards the pit lane. But would you believe it? David Holdren just got a black flag on pit exit, speeding on the way out. So yeah, one more trip down there and some lost positions, buddy. That's never what you want to happen. And he's going to have to now stop in that pit lane again.
That is going to be devastating there for that 46 car, as that is going to really take a lot of time out of that race. Christian Noble driver change for the 946 Boozy racing car. He'll replace Dennis Mickelson presumably for the rest of this race. Core Off-Road finally making a driver change. Jack Klepchik behind the wheel of that one. And then, as we mentioned, Adam McAfee in the 26 is Noble. He's getting a little dirty down there with another car. That is Tom Monhemius in the Bennett Racing Machine. One of those cars in a slower category of truck there in the 22, running second in Pro 2, 6.5 behind Bennett Racing 2, which has held the lead of that class for quite a while here.
Little bit of a busier run on the track here for the as we look at the Boozy racing car run by Christian Noble. Still taking these jumps like a champ, but the multi-class traffic starting to filter through both ways now. Obviously fastening some of the Beetles behind and letting some of the Subarus in front through. I mean, I mentioned near the very start that this race would change in its character as it went on, and we are well and truly sort of in the twilight hours. I mean, we even have a lot less sun than we used to, so well and truly darkening out here on the track. That's just a little bit of cloud cover on your day, but also like it really is now a game of less side-by-side racing, although there will be some, and a lot more manage your race. Don't make a stupid mistake and manage the traffic around you, trying to sneak up the inside of a slower truck, and actually that's not quite the line, mounting the curb on the way through. Gonna have to take another angle of attack, because definitely does want this place, but quite where do you send it when the pace difference isn't that tremendous? There you go. That's finally getting it done on the inside of the tight hairpin on the back of the track.
There are so many hairpins on this track. It feels like almost every single corner is another hairpin, another chance to make a move. It's so many. Just 180-degree corners that can spit you back out with a chance to make a pass here. I mean, this track almost feels built for getting moves done the way it races. Do we show that Team Watson barrel roll? Do we got that? Can we get the I have been told they had a, quote, nasty barrel roll for Matthew Lind behind the wheel of that one in the 123. This is the Subaru. It's running third in class at the moment, and oh yeah, oh, that is a tough one there for that car.
Do a barrel roll on the way to 15.
38
out there in
minutes.
one piece. It's
Yeah,
about avoiding the toes.
38 minutes left to go here as the lead for Pro 4 is slowly but surely starting to shrink. Adam McAfee up front there for Team Gold, but Tyson Miller for Team Radin is right in this, and this is going to be a really tight finish here for both of the cars in that class, and I'm really excited to see how this ends up shaking out. Team Gold does look a little bit faster right now. It was 0.8 of a second up for McAfee last time around. Miller might be able to get a little bit of a push. Yes, he will. Miller will go faster at the line that time. So, Tyson Miller trying to close the gap there, trying to make it a race for second overall, first in the lead of the Pro 4 class. The other really tight battle that we're going to have going for the lead here is this Pro 2 truck. Bennett Racing finally catching up to Bennett Racing 2. Tom Monhemius behind the wheel of the 22 for Bennett Racing, as he is only about 4 seconds back of Austin Derrick in the 607 car for Bennett Racing number 2. That's who we're looking at right now as he races with Connor Berry, one of those Pro 4 trucks who's just not had the race that he would want and is very deep in the field as a result.
Still, the two Bennett Racing teams are 1 and 2 in this class. They were a lot earlier, and they've sort of kept it in place. Don't get turned around there. But they are one of the most awkward classes, the Pro 2 trucks, just because everybody wants to muscle their way around them. But they look very much like the other trucks. They still hit you very hard like the other trucks if you get in their way. They're still very heavy and difficult to move like the other ones. In fact, they're even harder to move because 2-wheel drive rather than 4. It's going to hurt your maneuverability around these turns. There's a reason we dropped that in rally quite some time ago. So they do live in a very, very awkward middle ground. But sometimes being the middle ground in multi-class is a lot of fun out there on the track because you're trying to manage things in both directions. There are some cars you are clearly faster than, and then some cars that gap you, and you have to try and manage them all best. Still on the track though, I mean, they've got 2 seconds out from their teammate team behind who aren't going to pressure too hard. They'd have to go for a pass if they can, but they're going to just be careful about it, I think. It is nice to have some sister teams in the 1-2 positions.
Gap's down to 2.5 seconds there as Monhemius really putting the rubber down. Picked up over a second last time on Austin Derrick in the 607 as the Bennett Racing cars slowly begin to converge. Another bad lap for Derrick, and it was 1.8 quicker for Monhemius at the line that time. So the 22 with a lot of speed behind the wheel of that thing. Meanwhile, Sean Winkler, the 720, is absolutely checked out up there for the lead of that Pro 2 light truck class. And we saw battles going on in that class pretty much all race, but he has opened up a 32-second lead, and that is post pit stop. Jimmy Mensch, who is second in that class there in that 94 car for Rolling Chicane, has not made the pit stop yet. So when it does cycle back around to Aaron Smith in second, he will have 36 seconds to overcome with less than 36 minutes to go. And it looks like Sean Winkler has really been able to put the power down and extend his lead in that class. I haven't caught up with the Beatles in a little bit, but it is still move over its speedy time out in front of that one. Brian Sawyer behind the wheel. Was the 000 of Eric Dubois behind the wheel, but he has just had to make a pit stop. Had to make a pit stop. My grammar is perfect. He was running in second. Spencer Clark, you need a Beetle, sits third in that class with Jared Michaud for Snoop. There it is. Don Runkle, fifth for Missed Apex Sim Sport. And then Crime Pays with Sim Racing has found themselves out of the race here tonight as we continue to roll around. Still a decent battle going for Pro 4 truck. Tyson Miller has kind of evened it out here with Adam McAfee over the last few laps. He had a couple laps where he was gaining time. Now he's had a couple laps where he was losing time, but that is going to be one of the closer battles coming down to the end of this one for sure. As meanwhile, in the Subaru class, that 109 of Cone Misfits is just putting on a clinic. One lap ahead of everybody else as well, we might get that battle here very shortly for Pro 2 truck as Tom Monhemius had that gap down to half a second, took a big lunge in the corner, but Austin Derrick was able to pull away. That one is tight.
Well, there's been a very, very long battle here for P2 of the Subarus. It's been bubbling for the last few laps, and it's finally resulted in Team Watson Racing sort of squeezing on by the Channel 199 team. They still don't have their lap quite back, but they were having to battle through all sorts of traffic in order to get there, and I don't think it's going to be quite over. Also, a truck obviously just behind trying to fight forward in time, but here's an onboard from just behind on the 199, keeping an eye on some of these exciting battles ahead and a lot of this multi-class action. Now, Team Watson trying to clear as many trucks as they can and put as much space between them and 199 as possible. This is the best way to make up difference after a side-by-side battle that lasted several laps here on the track. This is a good space to clear them though, sending them 3 wide down the straight in the background, up the inside, losing a little bit of time behind the 199 and getting a little bit nudged in the process. Team Watson is running away with this, and as you identified earlier, Sky, now it's the Bennett Racing Pro 2 trucks that are also having their own conflict in time.
Yeah, Tom Monhemius got the look up the inside there, but wasn't able to generate the run off the corner he needed. Either way, that 22 is absolutely the faster of these cars. They're going to make their way around the lapper here of Ruby Nikamata for the On My Way to the Lickistow team. And that car almost has a flip right there as these two make it past. Monhemius is right down on that inside lane, taking the shorter line around Crandon. That could give him the advantage. Down here into yet another tight hairpin. Austin Derrick goes all the way wide, ends up in the marbles. That'll be the difference. Tom Monhemius is away for now. Can that 22 hold the leader? Will Austin Derrick finally be able to mount some kind of comeback? Doesn't look like it right there. Tom Monhemius keeping that lead. And with the lap times that I've seen out of him and the lap times I've seen out of Derrick, I think that 22 is going to absolutely fly away here over the next few laps. We'll keep an eye on it, but clearly a speed advantage for Monhemius. Whoa, Derrick took a little bit of a shot there all the way up on the apron, got nothing out of it, and he is going to lose over a second there from that one. Battle for the lead of Pro 4 also heating up. Tyson Miller has gotten that car within 2 seconds for Team Radin, and the battle for second in the Subaru class is still ongoing. This is Team Watson and Channel 199 trying to recover from that PC crash. Team Watson is taking it over right now as Evan McFarland in the 199 trying to battle back. This was the dominant car for much of the race, but he will make a pit stop here, and that battle will come to an end. Miller continues to try to close on McAfee, but they were almost dead even last time around.
Been a race of multiple phases, of course, for these drivers. The beginning, you had to make your way through the chaos, make up track position. The middle, just sort of consolidate your current pace, make sure your runs run safely. And now in the back half hour, you're going to want to push for positions again because you're running out of time. And now it's about an average race distance on the longer side. So you now really want to start pushing, and you want to make every last bit you can. And so we're going to see some of these battles really scale up, I think, as we approach the end, and plenty of cars and trucks approaching each other, especially as the pit cycles are so varied on each other. Here's another look at the Yes2Motorsport Blue Cup.
Russell Peterson there, currently behind the wheel of that one for the Yes2Motorsport Blue machine. That car runs 4th in class there in the Subarus. This is one spot behind the fastest Beetle in the field, which I find quite interesting. Move over its speedy time has really been running quite well there in that 5:35 and is beating quite a lot of the Subarus, which on paper would be the faster class in this race, and yet not really the case. Move over at speedy time, still out in front of this Yes2Motorsport Blue, and obviously in front of Yes2Motorsport Red, which will be unable to finish the race tonight. Cone Misfit still with a 46-second lead there over Matthew Wind post-pit stop, as Tyson Miller in the Team Radin FSS car has that gap down to about a second. Now it'll come back up as they'll flood through some of the corners. This is Jack Klepchik in the Core Off-Road machine. Core is Championship Off-Road Esports. It's primarily a Pro 4 league that runs on Saturday nights. They have a Division 1 series that is pay to race with cash season payouts, and a Division 2 series that is free to race but capped at 2,600 iRacing. So if you're interested in joining Championship Off-Road Esports or Core, you can look them up. They have a Discord. They have a couple leagues going on over there, and it sounds like quite a fun time there in the Pro 4 trucks, as That car continues to run 5th in this Pro 4 class. 2 seconds separating that car from the 586 Ray Bowden in the Ascension Racing car right up in front of him. Actually, yeah.
Now out of pit lane, that's 199 Subaru team. I'm going to have to try and make up as much time as they can around traffic while they wait for Team Watson to potentially make a stop of their own. Both have made 7 stops now, though, so they're actually now even on the pit strategy, whereas Team Watson are just muscling their way through every car around them, trying to make as much space as they can. The winner of that class is currently not in doubt really that much, but Watson is actually on the same lap. This is the same group of trucks that Channel 109 had to, the car in front, even Watson had to push through just before, and you can see that second Subaru down the road. So Evan McFarlane, very, very fast in that car. I must shout out that I have worked on another team rallycross race where one of the teams was called Evan McFarlane, more like Evan McSlolan. I'm not kidding. They named their team that. It was actually a very similar race format to this, although with an extra little gimmick on top. So, you know, it's certainly a name I remember, if not just for that. I'm sure he'd love for me to recognise that. But he was a very, very fast driver there. He remains a very, very fast driver here. Now rising up and challenging that Team Watson entrant. I think he's a lap down, so he's going to have to pass through and go all the way back around. That's not the Watson car at all. That's the answer. That's the 106. So he is pushing his way. 109 even. That's him unlapping himself against the Cone Misfits. Yes. There we go. For me, it's 3:43 a.m. I'm doing my best. We're almost done. I'm hanging in there. That's all I can say. But that will be the unlapping. And he can now start charging down Team Watson, which aren't that far down the line. Actually, they are the next car. So I wasn't wildly off. 2 seconds on the road. We're going to get a race between these two again.
Yeah, that 199 is the fastest car on the racetrack right now, and it has been for quite a little bit. I think it would be the overwhelming overall winner of this race if it was not for Evan McFarlane losing about 2 full laps there, having his PC crash on him during a pit stop and just dropping, or right after a pit stop and just dropping all of that time as a result. We'd like to keep you a little bit updated here on some of the driver changes going on. It is Chad Ball now behind the wheel for Bennett Racing 2, their 3rd driver of the night. Russell Peterson behind the wheel for Yes2Motorsport Blue. That is, I believe, also their 3rd driver of the night. So those are some of the driver changes that have been made. Some of the new drivers getting behind the wheel that we have not given a mention to at any point during this race. Or the 55 getting into it with a 510 there. That's the You Need a Beetle car, running 15th overall, making some contact with Core Off-Road, who are trying their best to catch up to that car just in front of them of Ray Baldwin in the Ascension Racing machine. Not quite happening, as it is another quick time from Evan McFarlane.
More like Evan McFarlane, in fact. I think we'll put it down there like that. And that's going to be a chase for the P2 in the class, absolutely. But there's and the Team Watson gets spun. They've been spun by the 55 truck. They've been corrected back in place, though, still facing forwards. This is going to bring the battle together in one place. Honestly good on the truck for saving the day there. That would have been incredibly frustrating until it wasn't. Now the fight is on, though, and the Core Off-Road 55 run by Jack Kepchik still isn't done. Still might just do it again if he's feeling so merciful.
No damage, no cautions, no harm, no foul is I think what we're going to say as a result of that, as these two are still going at it, and that will be a pit stop there for that 55 car. I believe they're likely to still have one more there with the pit, with the fuel capacity on these cars, and I think we're going to see the rest of that Pro 4 truck class come down pretty shortly. That includes this battle of Tyson Miller, of Adam McAfee. I think we're going to see some stops occur in this battle very, very soon, and that could shake up the running order there, but also maybe affect these 199 car. I think they're a bit away from a pit stop here. Yes, 6 laps from the last one for the 191, 4 for the 123, so they've got a bit of time still up in this battle. As Matthew Lind has just gone off-roading, he has, well, he's completely cut that corner. I don't think iRacing is going to let him get away with that because he just skipped the entirety of turn 4. That is, surely I think iRacing is going to give him a black flag for that one, and they have for the 123 of Matthew Lind. So I'm not sure if that is a slowdown black flag or if that is a pit stop black flag. But Matthew Lind completely cutting turn 4 is going to have to serve a black flag, and that will likely let McFarland straight through without too much difficulty here in just a moment. I mean, look at how slick this track is. There's so many marbles. There's so many slick patches. There's really not a lot of lines you can run on here left at this place.
That'll be a pit lane run. It usually only shows the black flag for us when it's actually a black flag given. There are some track cuts that are so egregious that iRacing will straight up stop you in the pits. They'll say you cut the course and you'll need to stop for it. I don't think that's one of them because it came quite a bit after he made the turn, so that was just not really serving a slowdown in time. Actually, somebody just cleared the Team Watson Racing black flag. Somebody just cleared it in the admin booth. I saw that
Chris,
one.
Yeah, that is, well, maybe they, my guess there is they didn't realize that it was a legitimate black flag for completely blowing a corner. I'm not sure, but they have cleared that one, so that is going to be Matthew Lind holding that spot and getting about an extra second there over Evan McFarland, as in that battle for the Pro 4 truck class lead. Tyson Miller is now your leader there, as Adam McAfee has brought it down pit road in the 26, but Miller still yet to pit, will need to cycle that car back around, as Serta has a bit of a moment there, but he's got enough of a gap that I don't really think it's going to matter too much at all. Christian Noble in the 946 will bring it down the pit lane. He was running 3rd in that class.
Listening on some of the voice chat, by the way, on that black flag clear, because the teams sort of taught that one back and forth for race control on each other, was effectively that, you know, the Channel 109 team basically said, hey, you know, he did cut the turn, and they said, you know, the gap is now the same as it was, that they did give back equivalent time, Team Watson believe, and the iRacing may have been a little bit additionally punitive, so they believe they gave back sort of enough time. The battle was pretty much as it was, which is why this has remained the way it is. Now, I've been told there's more flips to add to the flip gods, so once we have those replays locked and loaded, we're going to maybe have some fun increasing some numbers on the stream. It's always what the game's about. First one from Ascension Racing 2.
Wolf. That's a brutal one. That thing's still going. That is maybe the worst one we've seen all night there on the flip counter. Add another one to that. Tick the box. Check it up.
That's the long one at Crandon.
I've been told we have Ascension Racing 3 as well here in just a moment. Yes. I'm not even sure how that one happened, but that is Ascension Racing 3 doing a barrel roll.
That's a warning to always take your jumps in a straight line. Wrong side of the wall. Almost got pinned on it. I've been pinned on the walls before, beached. It's been very unfortunate, but actually got away with that time. And I've been looking at this little solo cup car, the OMW team, and that'll be 16. Solo cups are particularly strong on dirt tracks and can take many an incident. That's now well and truly over 15, meaning the bet is going to be 20.
Bit of a detour on their way to Likisto there in that 913 car. That's my favorite team name. I'm gonna say it every time I get a chance to. Do you think that was maybe a result of them coming back from the Likisto?
Oh, I see. Well, we were just told in our chat it was OMW, and I was like, oh, which team was that? Didn't check on the list, and it is on my way to the Likisto, which is spelled Stowe at the end, and I do love that. I do love that. That is very, very special.
I'm saying it the way it is because it is spelled Liqasto on Likisto. Ruby Nicomata behind the wheel of that car right now. That is, I believe, the last car running on the racetrack, but they are still running, and that counts for something. It's been a bit of a detour, but you know they're going to make it work.
Bit of a punt. Have my eye on the Subaru battle still, though we are trying to watch as much as we can. Let me tell you that they're battling with each other. Also, we have two trucks battling with each other, Ascension and Core Off-Road. And Godfrey Sports is technically battling another Ascension team, but Michael Boyd Jr.'s car is going to be serving a black flag. I think these Subarus, though, side by side down the straight are well and truly back in the action.
We're door to door for the
together.
Subaru lead as well here. We got a battle going on for that. I just want to cut over there because Evan McFarland has just got that move done. Well, maybe not, because Matthew Lind is still going at him, and Matthew Lind is almost going to spin that car around there in the 123. That might be what Evan McFarland needs to finally clear that car. Benjamin Cerda just made another pit stop, but Evan McFarland will come in now, and that will even that gap out. So he made the pass, but has to get some fuel in that car. Tyson Miller, by the way, came out of the pits, maintains that lead up 4 seconds on Adam McAfee at the moment.
Every time the battle's looking incredible, it does sort of eventually drop. Now, here's what's really curious. We've not talked about our overall leader that much, the Cone Misfits. They inherited it after Channel 199 lost it. Well, if I look at the gaps now, they're not that significant. Team Watson are 6 seconds behind the Cone Misfits. Now, they're going to need to stop relatively soon. The Cone Misfits are right out of the pit lane, so that gap is smaller than it should be. But there's a non-zero chance that something unusual ends up happening to that leader. Oh, Team Watson just went backwards, so okay. Yeah, that's going to even out that battle significantly, actually. So they've just had a full spin on the straight with contact with another truck to the Team Watson Subaru, and that's going to help Channel 199 catch up and possibly pass by the pit stops. That battle remains on then. We might need to go back and catch a replay of that one, because it wasn't a flip. It's not a flip, but this is a bit of a race-changing moment with the 86 truck.
Whoa!
There's another one.
It's the 46 car around David Holdren. Nearly going over there, keeping it locked down. I would like to correct myself. Tyson Miller made the pass for the lead in the pits there. He was the second car in that Pro 4 truck class. Got a good run out of the pits and made that pass while in the pit lane. And he now has a 3.5 second lead over Adam McAfee. Let's go back and check on that 86 car. Kind of starting a multi-car spin there. Quite a few involved, quite a few taking some heavy damage. That was Blanche there behind the wheel of that one. It's kind of hard to tell the numbers because you've got just so much dirt and mud covering everything.
I'm just reminded of something, and forgive me for the minor detour, but I do remember it was very specifically an ad for a gaming controller that used the line, "For those of you who just love dirt." And if you don't know the context, maybe I should just leave that one floating up in the air for you. So I was just reminded of all this talk of dirt today, that some of us just love dirt.
Is that a British thing? Is that what y'all do over there?
We love our dirt. The children yearn for the dirt and the gardens. Team Watson racing in the pit lane, so we'll see whether this Channel 199 car actually ends up passing them on the racetrack after the spin. In fact, no, that's going to be pretty trivial. They are going to come out leaders easily, no problem at all. Team Watson maybe have a chase to make up in this time. They do find a way to make it interesting and exciting no matter what. So I wouldn't count out anything unusual happening on the track at any point. But that lead has been now swapped over. Well, P2 has been swapped over with a 7-second gap between the two cars.
McFarland is only 20 seconds back of Benjamin Cerda. I know there's only 15 minutes left in the race, but that car was about 2 laps back at one point. And at one point, I mean about 35 minutes ago, and he's now only 20 seconds back. So Evan McFarland putting on a clinic. Do not count him out of this just yet. He is going to have to get around 2 Pro 4 trucks if he wants a shot at Code Misfits, but do not count him out. I would like to bring this up here because I'm taking a look at the I rating. Benjamin Cerda behind the wheel of that 109, 1,700 I rating, rookie class in dirt road. Meanwhile, McFarland, highest of any car driving right now, 8,300 on dirt road. One of the highest in the field. There you go. I mean, oh, that's going to be Cerda around all on his own from the lead of the Subaru class. And if you thought McFarland was too far back, think again, because that's 8 seconds and counting, 9 seconds, all in one mistake from Benjamin Cerda. Evan McFarland is in this to win this after going almost 2 full laps down less than an hour ago.
What did I say about something unusual at the front possibly opening up this race? What did I say? It's real now. The battle is on now, and Serda's got some trucks to fight back through. But Evan McFarlane is going to have to chase like his life depends on it. No pressure. There's been a little bit of pressure on a few more cars and trucks on the track, as we've been told. More flips around to start counting. So we can get that counter ready as this battle slowly crawls its way to a possible stunning completion. It's always good to see a battle go down to the wire on a race this long, although Evan is going to need to run quite fast. I mean, in general, Serda's been having some laps on the slower side in a row, and I've been by more than a second, so it's not impossible at all, but it's going to have to be some really faultless laps by Evan, because one mistake, it undoes the race back the other way.
We're going to get some replays here while McFarlane rapidly closes in on Serda. This is that Snoop There It Is car. I think this might be the third one they've had tonight. It has been a very bad time as Evan McFarlane runs the fastest lap of the race, in case you needed any more proof that he's capable of getting up. And they have hit On My Way to the Lake of Stowe, unfortunately. As we go a little bit deeper in the field here, this is the 25 car. That's not ideal. We don't have a number 24. We don't have a number 25 on our ticker. And this is Snoop There It Is again. I'm not sure who that 25 car was, because we notably do not have a 25 car in this race, but that was one of the trucks that went up and over there.
If we fall short of the big 20 by 1, I'm going to be heartbroken. Don't know if I'll ever be able to work iRacing ever again. There we go.
That's the 569 of Miss Apex SimSport doing a couple backflips there.
The funniest possible answer to over under 20 is exactly 20, by the way. That is the ultimate way that this could finish. Come on,
oh!
There we go. I don't even know if he did that one on purpose.
I don't think so.
He's ruined his own.
Well, that was third. That was third in the Pro 4 class right there. So I can't imagine that was exactly the result he wanted, because now he is going to be under some serious pressure from fourth in the Pro class right behind him there. So, yeah, not an ideal situation for Christian Noble behind the wheel of Boozy Racing car, as Evan McFarlane has that gap down to 4 seconds, by the way. He's going to win this race.
I mean, I hate to
maybe
shout
not outright.
out
Maybe not outright. He has 8.5 seconds to an outright overall win. But he is going to win this Subaru class from about a lap and a half back, which is unbelievable.
I hate to shout out iRatings, I really do, because Benjamin Serda in 1.7 is better than I could ever be at this. But catching up, Evan McFarlane on the way is okay, but a little bit of a checkup. But I will say that having to run from an 8.3k iRating demon behind in the last 10 minutes of this race is a bit like trying to outrun a hydrogen bomb as a coughing baby right now. Like, really, he's going to do everything he can, and it would be an incredible underdog story for him to win the class. So really, no matter what happens, we're going to have some excellent action here. But it's a very interesting dynamic between the two.
Matthew Lind back there in the 123 for Team Watson just put down the fastest lap all night, and that was the fastest lap all night by about 0.4 of a second. Better than anything Evan McFarlane has run. So Matthew Lind is rapidly closing that gap back there in the 123. This is going to be a wild one to end the Subaru class. McFarlane, look at that, 2.5 seconds a lap there, plus that one lap where Serda had that spin. He is right behind that 109 car to take back the lead of the Subaru class. And by the way, gap down to 5 seconds here. He is getting very close to getting the overall lead as Benjamin Serda has come into the pit lane. I wonder if we're going to see his driver change in that 109, because Serda has hit his minimums. And Justin Morton, who got that car to the lead, is in the session. We'll see if they opt. No, it's going to be a splash and go, and Serda is straight back out on the racetrack. I'm assuming McFarland might have to take a splash and go too. We'll see what the plan is there. He did come down a couple laps later than Serta, so presumably would need less fuel in that 199. These
Serta ran
past
7 laps. Serta ran 7 laps. McFarlane is on 8.
Yeah, okay. McFarland, by the way, this is for the lead of the overall lead of the race, because this is Tyson Miller up in front of him in the 23 Team Radin. That's your overall race leader in that blue truck. And here is McFarland, like I said, literally from a lap and a half down after having his whole computer crash. He is going to get back up to the overall lead of this race. There you go. He's blown straight past the 23 car here. That is maybe the greatest display of comeback driving I've ever seen on iRacing, considering he did all that in under an hour. Really only about 45 minutes there in that 199.
One more pit stop at the end might knock him back again, but it will be a very, very quick one if he makes it, and that's going to lead to maybe an interesting dynamic on the end. We're going to have to watch his pit entry every single lap, see if he needs to go for it. 35% fuel in those cars means that usually this is around the stint length that people have been making before needing to make their stop, but it will be a very, very quick splash and go, and he's making up time every single lap in the I don't think there's any such thing as clear air here, but certainly without the worries of another car in class to be chasing and quite a thin field ahead down the line. Not too many laps to go, but any lap could be the last one for fuel, and we'll see how close they get.
Ooh, a bit of a jump there for that 199 car, McFarland. We'll see how this pit cycle does end up shaking out there, as Matthew Lind, who is not too far behind this gap in there, is also, I believe, had to just make that pit stop. So this is going to be an interesting time. Excuse me, Matthew Lind has not made that pit stop. He just had a problem and ended up losing a couple seconds there, as we were going to get Tyson Miller into the pits. He was running second in that Pro 4 truck class, and I think we're going to see Adam McAfee in there in just a moment, because McAfee is 2 laps longer since his last pit stop than Tyson Miller. So we're going to see most likely a splash and go at a 26, who's currently your Pro 4 leader as well. We'll see if McFarland needs to come down there.
We've been ominously told there's an update. Here we go. Let's take a look.
This is Lind.
We're
this
not
is what
sure
happened to
what
Matthew
this
Lind. Oh, Matthew Lind goes for a roll. So that was the problem that we mentioned.
Over 20. There we go. And probably more. Like, this is the flip counter that we caught. I mean, everything's happening on this track all the time, and Christian Hill's been doing an incredible job on the replay machine of tracking down everything. But no, if I were to guess a real count, it could be close to 40 plus. You know, it's impossible. No one human can catch them all unless we have a spotter for every car on this track. Channel 199 are in the pit lane now. This will be quite a quick one, though. Just a splash of fuel. Team Gold will probably pass the overall lead, but I'm not sure about Team Watson. They're on the inside. Channel 199 coming out now. They're going to be battling on pit exit for the win.
Yeah, Matthew Lind, you cannot count him out, because he does have that fastest lap ran of the race. I know he just had that major flip, but there is a lot of speed in that 123 car, and with only 5 minutes to go, if he can make it to the end of this race without having to splash and go, put more gas in the car, he might be able to pull it off and grab this win over Evan McFarland. We still don't know who's going to grab the overall lead. I'm assuming it's going to be one of these 2 cars, as Adam McAfee is 12 laps removed from the last pit stop, and I would imagine has to take a stop and go at some point here, but we're not certain about that. Lind is going to get a little bit of a challenge here as he's racing around several cars who are on different laps. It's Robbie Kirtley, the VW Beetle, back there in the Beetle Boy ZZ car in that race as well. So we've got a couple cars who could be giving him some problems, and a couple cars that could maybe give Evan McFarland some problems as he continues his way up. That's not really the way you want to land that car after the corner, with multiple sideways bounces, but he's going to make the most of it, get a decent run out there, and Matthew Lind is gonna go into the pit lane, so he will have to take a splash and go. That will be the end of his chances. Adam McAfee will come in with him, and that is your top 2 cars in the race lead. Will cycle right back around to the channel 199 Subaru of Evan McFarland, who is clear by 11 seconds over Benjamin Cerda.
In addition, this leading truck entered the pit lane at the same time, so the Subarus are back on top of the overall. So making a PC crash to an overall win of the race. I mean, these 2 into that stint, he's pretty much guaranteed to make it to the end at this point. Touch wood, no toes, please no flips. This is an epic comeback story, and one that I'm so glad we've been able to follow this whole way through, because neither of us really thought it was possible until the lap time started proving it. That's endurance for you.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I gotta say, this is maybe the craziest comeback I have ever seen on iRacing, and I've been doing this a long time. For Evan McFarland to come from well over a lap down and out and literally not in the session to all the way back. He's gonna win this race by over 15 seconds at the pace he's going in that 199 car. Just an unbelievable drive from him to come all the way back, and now he just needs to run 2 minutes and 40 more seconds, and he will be able to bring this one home, not just for the lead of that Subaru WRX class, but for the lead of the race overall here. Dominating performance for Evan McFarland, dominating performance for both drivers in that 199 channel 199 car. You cannot count out Josh Edmondson either, who ran the first half of this race for this team and was incredible in his own right, had a 40-second lead to start, gave that 199 of McFarland the cushion he needed to be able to get back in the car and do what he has.
I mean, I saw 1 or 2 sketchy landings, and now my heart's in my throat every time he lands half on a truck, and I think that could have been the flip that ended you. That could have been the flip that ended you. That would sure be one more fun little story to add to this race. It would be a bit of heartbreak as well, though, and with no one really wants to see it, except for maybe the viewers. Who really knows? Matthew Lynn for Team Watson Racing could end up passing Benjamin Cerda here for P2 in class, just because he's less than a second back, and he certainly has the pace advantage. That one seems inevitable in time if there are clean laps, but only about a lap or 2 to go for our race win. And overall, after the crash, it's been such a spectacular evening. Here is Team Watson's 1-2-3, just trying to make their way past the 109. Finally, a wide line supports that one, and that position's just given up in time. Interesting, look at some of the other classes. Move over at Speedy Time has actually split several of these Pro 4 trucks. Has done very well in that 535 VW Beetle Light. He'd like to win that class, and the Binet Racing 22 is looking to win the Pro 2 trucks. Racecraft Academy is looking ahead in Pro 2 Light as well. Yeah, you're getting scared about the small cars, aren't you? You're getting very scared.
Matthew Lynn took a bit of a ride there for a second, but was able to gather that one back up and keep it going like nothing ever happened. I believe we were going to take... Oh! Evan McFarland nearly had a very big moment there as the Team 913 car on their way to the Lickistow just completely slid out right in front of him, nearly crashed into that 199 car. He'll make it out clean, though, and he will come back around. The white flag is going to be in the air this time for the 199 of Evan McFarland. He's crossed the start-finish line, and one more time around for this car to pull off one of the most unbelievable comebacks that you will ever see on iRacing in any series, in any race, in any type of broadcast. Evan McFarland back from the dead to pull off a 15-second lead here at Crandon. He's just got a couple more corners to go, and there is nothing but clean air and open space in front of him. It's all on the 199 car to close this one out and pull off the impossible. I think the total margin of victory here by the time he gets back around is going to be about 13 seconds. He's been running a little bit slower just to make sure he makes it back. Matthew Lynn for Team Watson Racing has been cutting in just a little bit, but with one more corner to go for the 199 of Evan McFarland in the Channel 199X Subaru team. It'll be McFarland crossing the line and winning by 13 seconds tonight at Crandon.
The idea of the race was funny enough, but when the actual race has an epic story and an epic battle and an incredible comeback, then that just makes it all that much better. Obviously, there are multiple drivers on the team, but I do want to say one more time, more like Evan McFarland, just to make up for the last time I called him Evan McSlowland, because I have a feeling that reputation has well and truly been shirked here today. Obviously, as a team with even more members there, of course, and everybody contributes to a win like this. They're going to be enjoying that one for a long time.
And that is Tyson Miller, current driver of the 23 Team Radin FSS. That is your Pro 4 truck winner. I would like to give a shout out to some of the other drivers in these classes who hope to bring these home. It was Josh Edmondson, the other 199 driver. Nicholas Dockelay behind the wheel of the 23 as well for Team Radin to help bring that one home. And then beating out both of the Pro 2 trucks tonight was actually a Beetle. 10th place overall, Eric Kaplinger brings it home for move over its speedy time. Brian Sawyer, the other driver of that car in the Pro 2 truck, Bennett Racing, ultimately brings it home over Bennett Racing 2 in what was a spirited battle for much of this race. Ton Manhemius and Zach Amspacher behind the wheel of that 22. And in the Pro 2 truck light Racecraft Academy, Sean Winkler running the race solo is going to bring that one home by almost a lap over Aaron Smith in the 970. Those are your class winners. We'll wait to get interviews up here with the winners of your classes, and while we get them all pulled up into the broadcast booth, we will take a real quick break and be right back here in the Yes2 Motorsport Series. How was that for a celebration?
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
three-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series, take a bow, Drake Mittag. And while Luke Canuck's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet. Keaton Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish. Her first win in the National Series. Crystal King gets it done. It's taken a while for Josh Edmondson to crack the victory circle. Winning the war, Drake Mittag, the 2025 iRacing Short Course World Finals champion.
Welcome back to the inaugural Yes 2 Hours of Crandon. And before we get to your interviews, we will get right into your results from tonight's race. The Subaru WRX STI class was your fastest. Channel 199 Racing took that one, followed by Team Watson, Cone Misfits, Yes2Motorsport Red, and Yes2Motorsport Blue. Yes2Motorsport Red was one of your cars unable to finish tonight.
Pro Force Tyson Miller's team led out that was Team Red, led out over Team Gold by Adam McAfee, then Christian Noble, Ray Boudouin. In the Ascension Racing team, had a Michael Boyd Jr. In the other Ascension truck, Jack Kepchek in Core Off-Road finished 6th ahead of David Holdren, Ricky Hadrian, and Dalton Buck.
Over in the VW Beetle class, Move Over Its Speedy Time took the win over TWRS VORTEX 26 Beetle Boys. You Need a Beetle finished in 3rd, Missed Apex Sim Sport 4th, Snoop There It Is in 5th, and Crime Pays But Sim Racing Doesn't, unable to finish the race tonight.
On the two-wheel drive side, 4 trucks entered. Bennett Racing took the top 2 places. Tom Monhomus took the win in the 22 ahead of the 607 of Chad Baldales. Please Move in 3rd, and Ascension Racing in P4.
And finishing out your race tonight in the Pro 2 light truck, Sean Winkler got your win in the 720 Racecraft Academy car. Yellow Vision, driven by Aaron Smith, finished 2nd. Team Rick, 3rd. Rolling Chicane of Jimmy Mensch in 4th. Interstellar SRV, driven by Matt Schlosser, 5th. On My Way to the Lickisto in 6th. And No Limits Garage, unable to bring this one to a close. And we will get straight into your interviews tonight, and I believe first up, we're going to bring up the winners of your Subaru class. That is the Channel 199 drivers of Evan McFarlane and Josh Edmondson, and we're going to get the two of them in the booth. How are y'all doing?
Good.
It's feeling great.
Tell us about that comeback, because y'all looked completely out of it there. You had the disconnection, lost about a lap and a half. We counted you out, and then you came back from nowhere to pull the win off in that one.
Yeah, that's all Evan there, man. He had to do the comeback. That was crazy. I'm with you. When it first happened, his PC crashed and had to reload into the session. I thought it was over. I was like, I don't think there's any way. And then once he got back out there, I was kind of looking at lap times and things, and like, okay, we'll just keep pushing, maybe. And he did, man. That was awesome to watch.
Yeah, Josh is giving me the credit, but he was the one who put us in a 50-second lead. So I just shout out to him, because I don't think we would have been in that position without him.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about driving the Subaru out here for 2 hours, because I mean, like, we saw a fair share of flips, our fair share of spills. What was it like tackling Crandon tonight?
Well, the Subaru is definitely the trickiest car, I think, out of all the choices. You can bounce wrong and spin or roll. So you're on edge off every jump in a lot of spots on the track pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, these tracks, they're built for like the Pro 4s and the Pro trucks, and these things don't have a lot of suspension travel, so it's really easy if you don't have your car in the right place. Just to get sent, get a bad bounce, and that happened a couple times, but yeah, we put ourselves in a good spot to win the race.
And Evan, what is it like when you're trying to drive up through the field and you're having to battle with all these different car classes, like 4 different kind of tiers of speed out there with you?
Yeah, it's scary. It's crazy, and you really got to adjust your lines and timing. You can't really push too hard. It's really difficult trying to navigate through the classes, especially like Pro 4s, because they're faster than us in the corners, but we got them on the straights. And you just got to be really disciplined, because when you're trying to catch up to your class in front, you really just want to send it. But it's often better just to take your own time and really just look for openings and gaps when you can. And that's kind of what we're doing today, just for being patient, and kind of worked out.
All right, who do y'all have to thank tonight?
Oh, definitely shout out the team, Channel 199, Subaru here, and then also Track Racers, team sponsor, Racecraft. You guys for putting on the show here. Definitely excited to go back and watch this one.
All right, congrats on the overall and class win tonight, Evan McFarland and Josh Edmondson of Channel 199.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And we are going to pull into the booth here our winners of the Pro 4 truck class. We can get them in here in just a second. That would be the Team Radin FSS cars of Tyson Miller and Nicholas Dockelay. How y'all doing?
Yo.
Doing great.
All right, winners of the Pro 4 truck class tonight, the number 23 Team Radin. What was it like tackling this track in this massive truck?
Well, it was actually pretty fun. I've never done one of these before, so it was a challenge trying to get through the other classes out there, but it was a great time. I think you agree with me on that, Tyson.
Yeah, I had a blast. I took most of the year off racing and come back and kind of jump right into one of these races is quite an experience for sure.
You were mixing it up quite a bit with that Team Gold Esports car for much of this race, both with the strategy and also on the racetrack. What did y'all do to ultimately get that win?
I just think that we had a better strategy on fuel. I think we were able to get like a 2-lap buffer on them, I think, so it made the last stop a little bit easier. But yeah, it was fun battling with them. We battle with Thad and Adam all the time in the other series, so we're used to driving around them.
Yeah, Thad was definitely on a mission, try and catch back up for sure.
All right, who do y'all have to thank tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank Team Radin, Factory Sim Sport, Keaton, Crystal, Plum, Tom, Terry, everyone over there. Yeah, and everyone for watching. Tyson.
Sliding in Enterprises.
All right, congrats on the win of the Pro 4 truck class tonight, Team Radin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to now pull up into the booth the winners of our Beetle class. That would be the 535 Move Over Its Speedy Time. I'm not sure.
Brian Sawyer and Eric Kaplinger?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have Eric Kaplinger. We'll get Brian Sawyer in here for you, Howie. There you go. Brian Sawyer, winner of the 535, winner of the VW Beetle class in the 535. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
It was a very fun race all over the field, but you were able to clear it by a lap on the next car. How was that experience for you?
It was a journey because my teammate and I, we decided to pit and driver swap every 30 minutes, so we really had to be pushing. Thankfully, we had a pretty clean race. Only one spin throughout the entire thing, so pretty happy about that. It was a good time.
Well, what is it like being a Beetle in the middle of basically everybody being bigger and scarier than you? Even you're faster than some cars that are still bigger and scarier than you. I always saw you as sort of the scared victims, not your team, but your class. But how actually was it on the track?
Yeah, you really got to know how all the other trucks and cars drive. You just kind of have to take the corners and be out of their way. You got to make sure you're not, they're going to send it, and you just kind of, okay, I'll be over here. They'll go this way, I'll go this way. It's really self-preservation more than anything racing against them.
Who else you got to thank for this result?
My teammate Eric did a great job tonight. I got to thank the power company. We have some pretty crazy storms coming through. The lights stayed on, so that's a big plus. But yeah, all my teammates, Yes2 Racing, NASA Sim Racing. That's about it.
That's our Beetle winner, Brian Sawyer, for move over at speedy time, claiming it by over a lap on the next car, and that should helpfully. I can't move people around the channels. I actually don't have the permission, so someone else has to handle this one here. Which means up next we have the two remaining truck classes. First of all, the Pro 2s, Binnett Racing. I'm not sure which Binnett Racing precisely. There were two of them
Binnett
in
Racing
the lobby.
22. We'll get Tom Monhemius and we'll get Zach Amspasher up in the booth. How y'all doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Yep, good.
Pro 2 truck winners, how's it feel?
It feels pretty good. I didn't do a whole lot. I just drove around the track a couple times for about 30 minutes, and then Tom got in there and put in some heaters. So, feeling pretty good. I've had time to relax. His heartbeat's still probably up there a little bit. Tom, how'd you feel out there?
Yeah, no, it's fun. Just making my way around everybody. A little bit of chaos with all the multi-class cars, but made it through as clean as I could and put in some heaters and came out with a win.
What is it like when you're racing with Binnett Racing 2, who is kind of your teammate, but not really tonight?
Yeah, that's an interesting. We're actually in the same Discord, so that might have been a mistake. It was a little chaotic at times. Needed a little bit of separation, I think, but it was cool to see the difference in experience. Tom and I have obviously done this before in this race, so we were used to the track wear, and those guys were struggling. They mentioned they would definitely want to practice with the higher track wear next time. They weren't really prepared for that, so it was kind of cool to see the different experience levels there.
Yeah, what is the track wear like when you have 2 hours of this?
Well, Tom figured it out pretty good. So, Tom, why don't you tell him how you go fast when the middle groove's completely gone?
Yeah, you just gotta try and stay off it. Try and if you go through it, you gotta have some momentum through it. At some points in the track, when we're trying to pass the Pro 2 light, we're getting outpaced because we just have no grip on it. But no, it loses a lot of grip, and that was kind of what they were struggling with a bit. But we made it out to be all right.
All right, who do y'all have to thank tonight?
We gotta shout out the team, Binnett Racing, P1, P2, and the Pro 2s. Put in a lot of practice. Love this race team. We do awesome. We are TG Power Sports for supporting the race team, and just anybody who races with us. A lot of good guys out there in track. Chris Leon for putting this on. Yes2Motorsport's awesome stuff. This is my fourth time out. Started doing this about this time last year, and won the last four. Every one I've done. So looking forward to the next one.
All right, congrats on the win in the Pro 2 truck class tonight, Binnett Racing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Howie will be standing by with our winner of the final class tonight, the Pro 2 truck lights. That is Sean Winkler.
Lizard indeed. Sure. I don't know if that played on stream, but we got to hear that.
Certainly did. Certainly did. Yeah, let's go.
The first solo class winner in Yes2 history. We've been told you did it. How was the race?
Oh, it was glorious, brother. That was so fun. Usually I would like to drive in a team in the Pro 2s, but I saw the chance to Ironman it, and I knew that I could probably get it done. So I'm glad I could go down in the history books as the first Ironman winner. It was a blast out there.
Does that get tiring and exhausting doing those sorts of jumps too many times? How much do you have to turn down your force feedback? How do you make it through?
No, force feedback's dialed in. I got a seat cooler here, so it's keeping me chilled. And I was just out for a Sunday drive. I mean, you can drive the thing wide open. It's not really the fastest truck out there, as you can see. I'm really just a rolling chicane, just trying to stay out of the way of people. But it was good. It was hooked up. I didn't make any mistakes. The start of the race was crazy as usual. You're going in there into Potawatomi, the turn one, and everyone's stacking up everywhere. And I tried to navigate through, and I got blasted, and then I got reblasted and kind of got shaken out towards the back, and I had to make a few moves to get back to the front, but we got it done and took tires on the first one. I think the other guys didn't take tires, and you need to take tires because you need the grip. So I just stuck to my game plan, tires and fuel, and go and drive it, and here we are, man. It was awesome.
Well, yeah. What is it quite like being the slowest? You're the slowest on the track in terms of classes, but you've also got a bit of weight to you. I mean, you can punt a beetle out of the way whenever you feel like it. What's
Absolutely.
that like?
I'm not really worried about getting. I mean, if a Pro 4 hits you, that's a problem. But I don't even. What's a beetle? I've never seen one. I just drive over them. It's fine. They can hit me all day long. I got a reinforced bumper, so it's okay. You can take a lot of hits and a lot of damage in the truck. It's fine, and it's so slow anyways. It's really hard to spin out. Datchley spun me once, but that was because I was on the gas when he tagged me there in Calamity. So threw her in reverse and got her going again, and that was it. So yeah, just had the force feedback dialed in, just kind of locked in, and 2 hours later, here we are. Not the longest stint I've ever driven, though. I've done some 3-hour Daytona 24 stints, so 2 hours is no problem. Breeze, walk in the park.
Any other thank yous?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to thank Racecraft Academy, obviously, Next Level Racing, Real Broker, Pimax VR, making an awesome VR headset. Obviously, you guys and iRacing and Chris Leone for putting on such an awesome race. It's a blast. 2 hours is better than ever. I appreciate him letting us do Ironman. It was really fun. Proud to win this one. And hi to all the fans in the stands. Hopefully, you guys got your money's worth out there and enjoyed the show. We tried to put on a good one. Thanks to all my friends and family watching. And yeah, can't wait to do it next time. Thank you very much, guys.
That marks our last winner, our solo Pro 2 light winner, Sean Winkler. Definitely the first to ever do it. One more time, someone else needs to handle the channel move. It's out of my hands. I did not get my rolls in time today. I joined very close to time. There we go.
That'll be the end of our coverage here tonight of the inaugural 2 Hours of Crandon here on the official iRacing channels with Yes2Motorsport Virtual Off-Road Team Endurocross. Once again, for myself, Sky Shrek, for Howie Burrows, and for Christian Hill up here in the broadcast booth with me. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
First up, it's the 3-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series, Take a Bow, Drake Mittag. And while Luke Canuck's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet. Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish. Her first win in the National Series. Crystal King gets it done. It's taken a while for Josh Edmondson to crack the victory circle. Winning the war, Drake Mittag, the 2025 iRacing Short Course World Finals champion.